1819 News.
Alabama Congressman Dale Strong continues to make a case for his latest bill called the Deport Illegal Voters Act. The bill is being offered by Strong ahead of the presidential election and would charge a non-U.S. citizen with a felony crime if they are found to have voted in a U.S. election. This felony charge would then lead to the immediate deportation of the illegal alien or non-citizen. Strong went on Newsmax to explain who all would be covered in this legislation.
The other thing that this bill does is it's for all immigrants. It doesn't matter if you're here on a green card, you have no right to vote in America. So we're going to bring it front and center. No matter where I've traveled over this last month and a half, everybody believes that's one of the problems. We got people that shouldn't be voting. It's proven in Michigan. We had it in Russellville, Alabama. And so what we're fixed to do is do everything we can to stop it.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
On November 15th, you can have dinner with Eric Metaxas right here in Alabama. Metaxas, the author of Bonhoeffer and Letter to the American Church, will keynote 1819 News' first annual Albert Patterson Gala on November 15th at the Barber Motorsports Event Center in Birmingham. To learn more and sponsor a table, visit 1819news.com/gala. Again, that's Eric Metaxas on November 15th. Go to 1819news.com/gala to learn more.
Marshall County man was arrested by police after a 5-hour search effort in Coleman County. 35-year-old Dakota Slusher is facing charges of domestic violence, assault, strangulation, and threatening with a gun. Slusher is now in the Marshall County Jail on a $10,000 bond. And the mayor of Scottsboro, along with one city council member, were sworn into office this past Monday. Mayor Jim McCamey and District 1 city council member Ralph Dawes both won their re-election bids earlier this year. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome into Election Day. It is Election Day 2024. In many ways, this day means a lot to, well, so many. Somebody will be a winner, somebody will be a loser. Well, actually, never underestimate how many people could lose going out with this absurd day. I mean, what a crazy campaign cycle, though. We'll be recapping some of the highlights that led us here to this moment. But as is tradition, we ain't breaking this tradition, not even on Election Day. We have the one, the only Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm well, Joey. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure, my dear friend.
Always great having you. And, I read in full, we talked about it a little last week, but read in full your op-ed. So you haven't voted for Republican or Democrat for president since 1984?
Right. When I voted for the re-election of Ronald Reagan. Since then, I have voted for the Libertarian when they had a decent candidate. Now, last year or 4 years ago, I don't even remember who the Libertarian candidate was. This time, he's a bit of a crackpot.
Yeah.
But there's always a right to life candidate or a small government candidate that allows me to look in the mirror the next day and said, I voted for somebody I can live with.
Well, I want to focus on that year, the last time you voted, 1984. That was a massive election. I think Reagan wins every state other than Minnesota, Mondale's own state.
I think you're right.
What was that time like? I mean, thinking about where America was, and it even got you out there like, man, I'm going with Ronald Reagan, and you weren't alone, it seemed.
It was a far happier time in America than we experience today. Both the candidates were gentlemen. Mondale, a classic liberal Democrat, Reagan, a classic conservative / libertarian Republican, both steeped deep into the history of their parties. Nobody was a newcomer. They each had worked their way up. Reagan had been governor of California twice. Mondale had been a congressman, a senator, and vice president under Jimmy Carter. And it was a principled election about ideas. It was not about personalities or character, as this current and the last two elections more or less have been.
Now, you mentioned ideas, and I don't know if you saw the clip of Ron Paul. And he by no means, folks, Ron Paul didn't come out and endorse Trump or endorse Harris or anything like that. He didn't play that game. But he gave this whole speech about 5-6 minutes where he said, I think ideas have snuck back in, when he saw, say, J.D. Vance going, I think Ron Paul is right about the Fed. And then this whole, let's recruit Ron Paul to join Elon Musk on the Department of Government Efficiency, so-called. And I've also seen, people like Dave Smith saying he's voting for Trump. It does seem there is a large part of the libertarian movement, especially the Ron Paul wing, that is jumping on this populist craze. I just wonder what you think of this movement.
Well, a lot of libertarians believe that Trump is the lesser of two evils, and that's why they're making a choice that, to them, an election is a balance. I'm more of a purist. I can't really vote for somebody who would do things that I condemn. So I have a problem with genocide, a real problem with genocide. And both of these candidates will give the murderer in chief on the planet right now, a guy by the name of Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever he wants, to kill however many people he wants, whether they're Iranians, Syrians, Lebanese, or Palestinians. So that would prevent me from voting for either of them. I have problems with other views that the two of them have, and I don't know how my dear friends, among whom I have to count clearly Ron Paul, can overcome those problems. Although, as you say, Ron Paul did not endorse Trump. I don't think he could or would.
Right. I don't think you would. I mean, on that question of where it's going with Israel, first off, when you say genocide, is that based on the preliminary findings of the International Court of Justice in the South African report?
No, it's based on what Netanyahu and his government have said. They've said that they want to eliminate all Palestinians. They said that they want to starve them. They said that they want to kill them. They want to deny them water and medicine. They want to be able to develop the Gaza Strip for their beachfront mansions. And nobody's doing anything about it except maybe a dozen websites and podcasts like my own.
Well, and again, we'll see where this goes in the coming days, in the sense that, as you point out, both Harris and Trump, I don't see a lot of daylight there on the question of Israel. I think Trump's a little more full-throated, given what he did, say, making Jerusalem the capital, yada, yada, yada. But where is the latest in that war ongoing there in that part of the world?
The latest is that Netanyahu continues to promote false narratives that he has defeated Hamas, which he hasn't. His second goal was to bring the hostages home. He hasn't succeeded in doing that. He latest claimed that he has degraded the defenses of Iran, but the Israeli media is reporting that the Israeli jets turned around and went back when they confronted Russian radar with which they were unfamiliar. Look, if the Israeli Air Force using American fighter jets cannot penetrate into Tehran, then neither can the American Air Force using American fighter jets penetrate into Iran. The other problem Netanyahu has is this orchestrated leak of classified documents. His former spokesperson, this would be Karine Jean-Pierre, Biden's principal spokesperson. His principal spokesperson is in jail in Tel Aviv, having been arrested by the Shin Bet, which is the Israeli FBI, for leaking classified documents, some of which were forgeries, all of which were intended to make Prime Minister Netanyahu look good. The noose is tightening around him, the political noose.
Right. And now moving a little north on the globe, we haven't seen a lot in the news about Russia and Ukraine. Where is that?
The United States government claimed as recently as this morning that there are 10,000 North Korean troops right inside the Russian border. My sources keep telling me that that is not true, that there are 10,000 North Korean troops in Russia, but they're 1,000 miles away over at the Russia-North Korea border, and they have trained there for generations. One of the reasons the Americans are pushing this story is because it causes sleepless nights in South Korea, and then would perhaps instill South Korea to join the war on Ukraine's side. Well, then we have a world war. We have the two Koreas against each other, and we have Ukraine and Russia against each other. Europe has pretty much given up on the war, and the United States will soon give up on it, no matter who wins the presidential election. Trump has said that he will, and Harris will have no political support for continuing the war, even if she wins and even if she wants to do so.
Now, as kind of a parting shot here, like, who would be your ideal candidate? I'm not necessarily even looking for a name. We could say like Ron Paul, but like if you saw somebody come up in American politics, what would it actually excite you and give you hope in terms of a candidate?
Well, somebody who believes that the Constitution means what it says, and that Congress can only enact legislation in the 16 areas that the Constitution gives to it. That would invalidate the administrative state, that would invalidate the Federal Reserve, that would limit spending on national defense, that would invalidate the 800 military installations we have around the world. That'd be almost too good to be true, but that's, of course, what would delight me. I mean, one of the reasons that Ron Paul couldn't support Trump, and my dear friend Dave Smith and the others should think twice, is because the most draconian Federal Reserve we've ever had is the one we have now. And the chair was appointed by Trump, who should have known what he was doing. There's not a libertarian bone in Trump's body. He's in favor of regulations that benefit his side of the ledger, which is immediate wealth fueled by debt.
Now, actually, I have one more here, because there are a lot of folks on both sides of this saying, you know, it's the last election ever, the last chance. This is the most important thing ever. Who knows if the country stays together? What sort of, violence in the streets might break out? When we're talking next week, how much do you give credence to this sort of noise?
None. Every year seems like the most important election, and at that moment in time, it is, and the country survives. I believe that at some point the federal government will collapse of its own weight, but that's not going to be because Donald Trump or Kamala Harris became president. It will be in spite of that. It'll be because the country will not be able to afford the $1 trillion in interest the federal government now pays to all the people that have loaned money to it. At some point, they'll stop loaning money, and the Fed will have to stop printing because what it'll be printing will be worthless. Will that happen in 4 years? I don't think so. When it happens, will it be violent? I doubt it. but there'll be a lot of very valuable real estate that somebody will want to gobble up. The
There
federal
you-
government owns more real estate. The Constitution doesn't authorize it to own a square inch of property, but it owns more real estate in the United States than any other entity.
Well, we'll see. It's as Americans, we like to, I think, most Americans like to think, we can really control our own destiny and the big things happen on election day. But man, events, no matter what we plan, seem to have a mind of their own sometimes. So we shall see. But
we've been living not only on borrowed cash, but on borrowed time. And at some point, it'll be time to pay the piper, or the piper will stop playing his music, so to speak.
Well, I always appreciate your time, Judge. If folks want to check out Judging Freedom, how can they do so?
Well, they can go to Judging Freedom on YouTube. I have Matt Ho, Karen Kwiatkowski, and the great Scott Ritter today. Ritter's on at 4 o'clock Eastern, always a fan favorite. And tomorrow at 11 in the morning, the other fan favorite, who in a sane world would be the Secretary of State or the Secretary of Defense, Colonel Douglas McGregor.
Well, I appreciate your time as always. God bless. Hopefully we all survive this day.
We shall. All the best to you, Joey. Thank you.
Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. I always appreciate his time. We keep the tradition going even here on Election Day. We have, of course, Eddie Bader in the studio. Eddie, how you darn today?
Doing wonderful. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing all right. And we have Byron Sheehy in the studio as well. How you doing?
A little nervous, Joey.
See, he's been Mr. Hopeful, right?
Yeah.
You know this, Eddie.
Not an Auburn fan.
Right.
That's
Right.
not hopeful today.
You're not hopeful at all today.
Oh, Byron, I hate that.
See what I mean? Like
Me too. As an Auburn fan?
it's like a gut punch.
Eh.
But I mean, but Charlie Kirk said,
Charlie Kirk has an incentive.
but Jack Posobiec said, no, if you go online right now, everybody's like, oh, I can see it. I can see the patterns in the numbers. I'm like, I'm sorry. Nobody knows.
It's rah-rah.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's being honest with you, all the people who do this professionally, this is the day where you kind of get to experience, all the labor, see everything come into effect, second guess yourself, pat yourself on the back, more second guessing yourself. But
Yeah.
I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of hand wringing going on late into the night.
Oh, God. And we could go through worst case scenarios. The actual worst case scenario is, say, about an hour into this program, and it's not just about this show. It's more nationwide. You get like a massive cyber attack. That would be, I think, maybe worst case scenario. Now, we could also play out, what if it's a tie in the Electoral College? What if Pennsylvania doesn't have the results by this evening and it's not real clear where things are going?
Why narrow it down? It might be a little smorgasbord. You might have 2 or 3 different things to choose from there.
Right. But, I wanted to keep the tradition going with Judge Knapp because it's sort of a dose of, it's a little bit of medicine in the sense of there is a lot of hopium going on, a lot of copium. There's a lot of rah-rah. But I do have to say, I disagree with the judge in this sense. I'm much more with a lot of these libertarians, like Dave Smith. Clint Russell also comes to mind. He was almost the VP nominee for the Libertarians this cycle. Or, you might even say there are people that don't fit like the principled libertarian category, but they fit it really culturally, like, say, Joe Rogan, and even, say, Elon Musk. And last night, unannounced, they just dropped a huge episode of Elon Musk sitting with Joe Rogan.
Yep.
And then afterwards, well, I'll get to that. First, here's the crucial clip that's been going viral. Elon making a plea to folks.
Yes. Well, I'll say it again, man. I think this is the last election. If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people, and a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like, there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left wing and they realize, like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, man. And if the Dems win this election, they will legalize enough illegals to turn the swing states, and everywhere will be like California. There will be no escape.
That is so insane.
This is the final This is it. This is the last chance.
Has anybody tried
And
to
I
push
just want to
back?
like go out and vote.
Looking right in the camera.
Vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your future depends on it, because it does. This is the last chance, man.
My only pushback against what he said on the illegal part, with all the snowbirds coming down to these red states, illegals aren't necessarily going to be the tail of the tape when you got, you know, an exodus from these failed blue states coming into red states.
Yeah, maybe. It just, they go over it. The scheme seems pretty clear in the sense of, let's put all these folks that we give a bunch of benefits that we've essentially made dependent on us. Let's put them in these battleground states. And then Chuck Schumer himself has said, we need to legalize these folks as quick as possible. And if you blow up the filibuster in the Senate and they have the House, they'll do it.
Well, fortunately, Republicans should have the Senate. So no blowing up the filibuster this time.
So you are still hopeful about the Senate?
I'm more confident about the Senate than I am presidential.
Okay.
Really? Yeah.
Okay. But, you know, it was a long, 3-hour conversation or something like that between Musk and Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And on the heels of it being released, Joe Rogan put out this tweet saying, "The great and powerful Elon Musk. If it wasn't for him, we'd be effed." He thanked Elon over and over again for buying Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, writes Rogan. And I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. Enjoy the podcast. Wow. At this point, just on X, that has 31 million views. So we're going to see where the juice is. But, I think just seeing Elon, seeing Rogan, seeing like these folks have followed for years, whether it's even Ron Paul saying nice things, seeing Dave Smith, a libertarian I love deeply, just seeing folks that I never thought would get on board the Trump train. I'm doing it. I can't help it anymore. I can't. I'm doing it. Make America great again. Dark MAGA baby all the way.
Every day.
Wait, where's your hat?
It's on my head. I didn't get one.
No, like we're doing this thing. And hopefully it works out.
Hopefully. But all right, so
he's coming in with all his common sense.
Yeah.
Now. Like, is this how all campaign operatives are? It's like, as you're saying, like it's right. It's election day. You're like, oh, now I'm getting a little introspective. And
you can't see my feet. I'm just.
He is
tapping over here, dude. I mean, kinetic energy.
You're good. I promise. I mean, I know it doesn't do any good, but
just
you're good.
giving you a hard time.
This is the day. It's everyone's Super Bowl in this industry. It is going to be interesting to see how the low propensity, as the Dems call us, sort of the bros, the low propensity people who tune into Joe Rogan may not have been inclined to go vote in other elections. And I ask you, kind of off of the air, if you had any idea how the podcast demos sort of break out, who's got a concentration, Dems or Republican, at the top of viewership. Looked it up, overwhelmingly for Republicans.
Right.
So to your point about this being the election cycle where podcast kind of puts its stake in the ground, new media not going anywhere, this is going to be sort of a fun experiment, tell of the tape, new versus old, tried versus true, and all the uncertainties. That's what we can't account for, and that's what keeps me fidgeting and trying to figure out what's going on.
It just feels good, though. I know you're professional at this. Eddie and I, we're more clowns on the radio, just, everyday guys. And it kind of feels good to finally be dark MAGA.
Yeah.
There was an article that was released, I guess it was over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to think about this. It's calling the Dems, or really non-traditional Republicans who are anti-Trump, the new silent majority. So think about all the negative effects that the media has been, just lambasting with a fire hose against Trump for 2-3 weeks. There's a scenario where Republicans peak a week early. Those effects matter. And when you get down to some of those people who may not always go vote, that might be what tips this thing one way or the other.
Man, I hear you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But after Judge Napolitano and now you, I'm like, it's election day. We're going to win.
Yeah.
We're going to win.
We're going to win.
You were the guy saying landslide for 2 weeks now.
Hey, Buzz Killington. You're killing me over there.
I'm killing me,
man.
Killing me,
This is what I
man.
do.
Yeah, it is what you do. But how about this? Let's hit a quick break, and we'll come back with a
Can
guy.
we beat some sense into it?
Well, we're coming
Yeah,
back with
please
the chair of the Youth Advisory Council for the RNC,
Okay.
Brylan Hollyhand, and he might have something to say about young men getting out.
Okay,
there.
good.
Maybe he can comment on the young GOP chairman from Waukesha County in Wisconsin who went out against Trump.
Oh my!
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, Rich Thomas here. I'm in Prattville at the Depot Furniture Gallery. The Depot is having an unbelievable sale. They are moving, and with a showroom and warehouse full of inventory, they want to get it sold so they don't have to move it to their new location. With the Depot buying directly from the factories by the truck and container loads, their prices are amazingly low. But now with this moving sale, everything is an additional 50% off the already low sale price. And that includes everything: bedroom, dining room furniture, kitchen islands, entertainment centers, pictures, lamps, and accessories. Also, the 50% sale includes rugs from their rug gallery. The Depot has a great selection of rugs for Oriental weavers and lowly rugs. Trust me, you don't want to miss this 50% off moving sale. The Depot is located at 616 Highway 82 West Prattville, inside Prattville Pickers, hours 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday, and Sunday 1 to 5. Call 334-380-3300 or find the Depot Furniture Gallery on Facebook.
The holiday season is quickly approaching, and what better way to spread joy than by giving back to those in need? We're calling on all of you, our generous listeners, to make this holiday season extra special for those who might be struggling. Join us for our annual holiday food drive benefiting the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. It's simple. Just gather non-perishable food items like canned goods, pasta, rice from your pantry, and drop them off at any of our convenient sponsor locations across the river region. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can feed families in need this holiday season. Starting November 11th, bring your donations to Ask Telemarketing, City Pawn, Rick's Jewelers, Riverside Chevrolet, or Prattville Carpet. Donate what you can. It's Blue Water Broadcasting's annual Holiday Food Drive.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
On this election day, it's a breezy, warm forecast, high around 83. I've got the rain chances 20% or less, so you could see a shower through this evening, but most places stay dry, winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chances 30% after midnight tonight, and then scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. 50-50 chance, high around 80. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highs in the upper 70s with the risk of scattered showers at times. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
This is a Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Welcome back. Now, as promised, joining us on the stream here, we have the one, the only Brylan Hollyhand. Brylan, how you doing today, sir?
Joey, I couldn't be better. It's election day, and I just got off the phone with the president's campaign, and vibes are through the roof. So I'm super excited.
Vibes through the roof. So, like, why the good vibes? I've got these Debbie Downers around me. Like, I hate to start a show that way. So I love your positivity already. But why are people feeling so good?
Well, first thing, my vibes are through the roof because I just voted for the first time and couldn't be more excited for that. I actually got to, I've lectured people for 7.5 years about voting, and I actually got to vote. It was a really cool experience. The numbers that I've seen this morning from the internal campaign stuff is looking great. As for turnouts, that's a big thing. Polls are just polls until people actually come and vote on election day. That's what we've been looking for. The turnout is good where it needs to be good. In the swing states, specifically Michigan, Wisconsin, and also Pennsylvania have looked really good. I just did a radio show in Virginia, and the numbers that I was sent after that show are looking great as well. Stuff like that is what we need. We obviously won the early voting numbers. There's a reason that Kamala Harris's campaign team has not been on the Morning Joe show today talking about how great their early voting numbers were, because they didn't do as well as we did. We overperformed. The one caveat going into election day, I felt good, but we needed to back up our good early vote numbers by also good day of turnout, if that's how we're going to win. We can't just have everybody go vote early, nobody go vote day of, then we lose. We've seen a good mix of both. I'm feeling confident. Things are looking good. I've spoken with the president's team. I've spoken with members of the family. He obviously just voted, and he's on his way back to Mar-a-Lago now.
How much do you think young men like yourself, Elon Musk, Mr. Dark MAGA himself, has been pushing this? How much do you think young men will make a difference in this?
They're absolutely going to make a difference. So a lot of conversation has been about the gender gap in this election. I do believe that there is a gender gap. I do believe that Kamala Harris will probably win the majority of young women, but not all of young women. And I think more young men will get out and vote and go to the polls on election day as opposed to early voting that will overcompensate for what she's thinking there with the young female vote. Last night was a big night for the young men vote for President Trump. We got the Joe Rogan endorsement. Obviously, that is the predominant podcast, population of his subscribers list. So that's huge. Obviously, he's been on the podcast. Numbers are through the roof. Had a 3-hour conversation, and Kamala stood Joe Rogan up. That kind of stuff is huge for the campaign. That type of stuff is what we've been looking for. Having Rogan make his first ever political endorsement the night of the election is major, and we're hoping that energy is what gets the frat guys out to the polls today. That's what we're looking forward to.
Now, as you are watching returns, I don't know if you're doing the watch party. You voted for the first time. You're doing the watch party thing?
Yes, I'm doing some media tonight, but I've got about 6 TV screens in front of me.
Awesome. So, what are you kind of looking for in terms of returns coming in that makes that hope and that good vibe be like, oh man, it's happening?
So there's 3 aspects to that. We're going to look for presidential numbers later. Obviously, that's going to take a little bit, if not a few days, to come in. The first thing I'm looking at is congressional races. Big one, obviously, in AL2. The last time I was on this podcast was with Caroline Dobson sitting next to me and talked about how important that race is. Her race could be the one that helps us keep the majority in the House. It's that important. Speaker Johnson has been important on this conversation. We've had a lot of big A-list celebrities come down here to endorse her, to make it important known that this is a race that the whole nation's watching. Every single person watching needs to make sure you get out and vote for Caroline Dobson. The second thing is the Senate. I feel very confident that obviously we're going to win the Senate. It's just by how much. I'm predicting 53 to 54 seats. Those numbers will come in a little bit quicker, and we can kind of see what House and Senate majority is looking like. Towards the end of the night is where we're going to start seeing some definite presidential numbers. The first major swing state I think we're going to get is about Georgia. If everything's good in Georgia, I'm going to keep feeling good. If we have a low turnout in Georgia for specifically young men, I'm not going to feel as great. Obviously, Pennsylvania can make up for that. Some of these more Eastern time states can make up for it. But Georgia is going to be one of the first key things that I'm looking for. We'll see what happens there. Hopefully, my prediction has been that we know by Thursday at lunch. Hopefully, we know earlier than that.
Amen. And, it also seems this year the RNC is much more ready to go with lawyers, with challenges on the ground, like this Cambria County thing that just happened in Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yeah, I talked to Laura Trump this morning. This was early. I thought I was up early. And she literally said that they slept for 30 minutes. She came back from a rally that ended at 2:30. They got home like 5:30, 5:45. She slept for 30 minutes and got woken up by a call from the legal team at the RNC. There were 2 to 3 counties in Pennsylvania, obviously an important state, that weren't letting our poll watchers in. The RNC filed a lawsuit. The poll watchers were let in. Everything's wonderful. That's the most concerning stuff I've seen so far, but which is great because we shouldn't have too many concerning things going on election day. We have the lawyers prepared. We're organized. I'll tell you this little story. When Laura Trump came in as co-chair of the RNC, I sat down and had a conversation with her, and I said, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a first-time voter. I'm concerned that there's going to be voter fraud. We saw it in 2020. What's going to happen this time? I know you can tell me it's going to be safe and secure, but what are you actually doing? And she said, Brown, I make a promise to you today that we'll recruit 100,000 poll watchers before election day. And I said, sure you will. Okay, whatever. A few weeks ago, she came to Montgomery. She spoke at that Alabama GOP dinner. Her and I were backstage. We were talking with Katie Britt. Katie walked off, and I turned to Caroline, and I turned to Laura, and I said, Laura, where do we stand with the poll watching? Like, how close to you to 100,000? What do we need to be doing to recruit? She said, oh, we're fine. We're at 250,000. And this was over a month ago. And I said, wow. So stuff like that didn't happen in 2020. We had 0 poll watchers. Now we have 250,000 plus. Stuff like that is how I feel confident that it's going to be a fair and free election. Whether or not it's actually a fair and free election, we'll see. But what our poll watchers are doing to prevent stuff from happening like it did in 2020 is where I feel confident. That's why the vibes are good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and before I let you go, as you think back, and we'll get into this on the show here in more detail, but of all the moments like leading up, what a crazy election season this has been. Is there a particular moment that really sticks in the mind for you?
There is. I'm glad you mentioned this. I went and did a little run yesterday afternoon. I was kind of like reflecting, like, this is kind of sentimental. This is a 9-year campaign with Trump. This is it, regardless of the results. You know, he said this is his last time running. This is a little sentimental. I think the only moment that I've ever been around the guy and seen him get emotional was the convention. The Thursday night, when he walked into the arena, I could swear that I saw tears in the guy's eyes. It was really cool to just, bandage over the ear. Hulk Hogan introduces you. You walk out to like flamethrowers all around you. You were shot in the head less than 3 or 4 days ago, and you got a crowd of 100,000 people chanting your name. That was one of those things that I was pinching myself of. First of all, not only am I just watching history, but what a week. Like, Joe Biden had just dropped out like that day or the day before. Trump had just been shot in the head. There could have been a whole movie about that week. And here this guy comes out, resilient for the 3rd time running. That probably is what sticks out to me the most. That was a pretty cool moment. We'll reflect on this campaign for several years. Our children and grandchildren are going to be reading about this in a history book one day, and we got to look through it. So that's pretty cool.
Well, you don't need age to have wisdom. The fact that you're taking a breath and reflecting on that says a lot about you, man. And it's great that you get the first time that you vote. Let's hope this is one of these big historic elections.
I hope so. Thanks for having me, Joey. I appreciate you and your audience. Please get out and vote for Carol Lee Dobson and President Trump. Could not be more important.
Appreciate it, Brylan.
Thank you.
Again, folks, that's Brylan Hollyhand. He is the chair of the RNC Youth Advisory Council. And the Congressional District 2 race, I'll put it this way. All the smart folks are like, well, I don't know. Fox News has got it clearly leaning Democrat, but a lot of this does depend on turnout today. So get out there. Of course, you see a lot of folks say it depends on turnout. It's kind of like saying, hey, who's going to win the Iron Bowl? Whoever scores the most points.
Whoever turns the ball over the least.
Yeah, it's those sorts of pieces of advice. But it is about turnout enthusiasm. And the reason I'm not up and I'm not down, I'm happy to put on the dark MAGA hat and hope for the best. But I'm not I'm certain in this, is because I don't think the polling has been very clear at all. And I don't trust the publicly available polling whatsoever.
I can make an argument that you shouldn't trust your own internal polling if, you don't have sound methodology and can actually get to the people who are going to impact the election. These low Ps are going to determine this thing. And to the gentleman's point, young people are going to be more active this campaign. There is a gender gap, especially amongst younger voters. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see more young women turn out than young men. This is, for whatever you want to say, it is still a Roe v. Wade election for young women. And that is a super nuclear hot button issue.
Indeed it is.
So as far as motivating, I don't understand, how we can rationalize in our head that there's going to be a smaller gap between young men and young women.
Eddie, how you feeling about everything?
I feel good, man.
You feel good?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Like, no, I feel good, man. No,
I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel very confident in a Trump victory. I got bigger issues to worry about.
Oh yeah, in your life.
The sun's coming up tomorrow, one way or the other.
Right, exactly. One of two things is going to happen. But I just, and I could be way wrong. I've been way wrong before. But I feel confident. I just see, reading the tea leaves and looking at all the polling doesn't mean anything to me because I honestly don't trust it. It's just people in my circle and even people outside my circle that I talk to never thought of voting for Trump. They've had enough. And several of them have told me that the Democratic Party that they see now is not the party that they've been a part of. They've kind of turned their backs on morals and they just can't stomach it.
Right. Well, and it is, though, what Byron just said gives me pause in the sense that we do have different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old Scott Adams thing he came up with, that we're all looking at the same screens, but we're not watching the same movie.
Yeah.
And it is sometimes when you really find somebody quite outside of your circle, you realize, man, you live in a different reality. And so I think this is kind of a test of the myth making, of the narrative building, of who has actually captured the minds of enough Americans in order to make their narrative known, is how I generally look at this sort of thing. And, I have the privilege of not having people in my family who try to guilt me or shame me or withhold sex. Like we talked about that yesterday. A brand new wife, he's been married for a year, and she's like, if you vote for Trump, we're never having sex.
That's a brand new old wife.
Yeah, it's like,
well, start the
sounds like marriage to me.
Marriage, yeah. All about negotiation.
But I don't have anybody like that trying to, and honestly, there are definitely people a little more liberal in my family, but they know, like, really, you're going to try to sell me on these things? Give me a break.
Yeah, you're pretty confident in your beliefs of why you're voting the way you're voting.
But I do wonder about that sort of internal, not polling, but internal, like, family dynamics. Like, how many men in particular are actually going to go with the Joe Rogan and so many other podcast worlds, like, or are they going to listen to their sister, their mother, their wife, the family members that they're around all the time? You got to wonder, like, do people stay home because they don't want the trouble, for instance?
Sure, there's some low T guys out there that think that way, but for the most part.
All right, let's talk about those high T guys that watch Joe Rogan. What do you think the clip is they turn out to vote? 60%, 50%, 40%?
In this case, I think at least 60%.
I guess the point that I was trying to make, when men are trying to pin our hopes and confidences on Joe Rogan gave an endorsement versus the built-in emotional hatred against the president and Republicans because of the Roe v. Wade issue, it's night and day. I mean, it's not even the same stratosphere. You're talking about an endorsement from a podcast versus something that actually impacts people's everyday lives that they've been having hammered down their throats for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but I didn't mean that Joe Rogan's endorsement did anything. I just think the matter of fact, if you've been alive for the last 4 years and tried to make a living, common sense has kicked in, and all these podcasts have kind of reinforced what we know. Gas has doubled, utilities have doubled, food has doubled and tripled. It doesn't take. I mean, if you're on government assistance, then yeah, nothing's changed for you.
You know who that has it also impacted? White girls that still living on daddy's credit card.
You're right. There's a few of them, I'm sure.
A handful of them.
But I think every one of those girls got a daddy that's going to vote the other way.
I've knocked on the door and had a gentleman more than one time turn around and say, I voted Republican my entire life. I'm voting the other side now because of those ladies behind me.
Now, granted, you see that a lot, but I've seen just the opposite in this election more than I've ever had in my life. That people of color have come up and said, I've voted for Democrats my whole life. It's done absolutely nothing for me. More and more of them have come out than I've ever heard.
I agree with that. Yeah.
As far as the women vote, I know there's something there. I just don't see it the same way.
So I guess we're going to learn at the end of the day whether or not half the country is sexist one way or the other.
But you've already...
No, seriously, if Kamala loses, it's because of misogyny, and if Trump loses, it's because of misandry.
Well, no, if she loses, it's because she was an incompetent candidate. And
that's how I see it.
I do think that the Republicans missed an opportunity, especially the last week or so, to lean into the movement amongst women who wanted to go vote for the first female president. The fact that she didn't win the election, that she was not elected by them, that she was kind of an affirmative action hire by Biden, like that sort of diminished the women's movement's efforts. So it's almost like a Trojan horse, Pyrrhonic victory, pick something. It's just not what they would want to champion. They'd much rather, support Hillary when she won the nominee versus here's your female candidate. Now go vote for her.
But my thought with that is these are the same women that are letting men overtake women's sports, and they're okay with that.
Yes,
Well, and again, if you break into the gender gap, what's interesting is that if you're married, you tend to be more in the center, leaning center right. That includes women and men. Sort of. It's kind of an archetypal truth about human existence. Men and women in a loving relationship tend to balance one another out, and the roles they assume. It is single men who are hardcore part of that new media podcast world, and it is single women who are, to your point, it's all Roe v. Wade. We're entering the Handmaid's Tale sort of stuff.
But there's an educational component to that. People who aren't four-year college graduates, by and large, typically are more moderate or left-leaning versus the guys who actually put on boots and have calluses on their hands being right-leaning.
True, yeah. There's something about those indoctrination centers that when you learn how to do the professional work, you learn how to, toe the line.
You can just, sit up on your perch and look down at all the people who aren't as smart as you and, tell them what they're doing wrong and everything. There's an egotistical component to that.
Yeah, and in my mind, what it comes down to is things like, just talking very personally here, I know that doesn't sell many other people, I have been all about watching, trying to understand things like Bitcoin and the crypto markets since 2013, 11 years ago. And Trump was the one candidate who made actual big public promises, who actually showed up at the Bitcoin conference. So right there, he wins me over.
That's your issue.
That's one of them.
One of your main issues.
But I think the bigger issue, and something I share with my brother and a few other family members, it has nothing to do with Trump. Has more to do with, again, folks, I was not a dark MAGA guy. I was a black-jacketed, almost anarchist malcontent in 2016. And I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't vote for any of them. Because I thought it's rigged. It's a scam. Every election is illegitimate. Okay. Because all government is usually illegitimate and above the normal moral rules. I get the one exception to the golden rule if you actually have the government. But what I've seen since 2016 and having that point of view is from day one, before he's even sworn in, this system was after this guy. What do I mean by the system? I mean the intelligence community. I mean the donor class. I mean all the billionaires who are on the in club. I mean big tech. I mean corporate media. They had it in for this guy. They frame him for treason using Oppo research for years and years and years. They lie about this guy over and over again. They then lie to the American people. Joe Biden's fine. Joe Biden's perfectly fine. Joe Biden's wonderful. He's sharp as a tack. Yep. And then when everybody's like, that's obviously BS, they do this switcheroo but we didn't know, and here's your new candidate, Kamala Harris. This system should not be rewarded. This system that was revealed by the Twitter files. When Elon buys Twitter and they reveal how much the FBI is a special portal to go in there and control information, and they've got that sort of thing at every other institution, the system cannot be rewarded. Now, it might be.
All right.
But that's my issue. It's not about Trump. Trump is the bull that I want to throw into their delicate china shop. And I think the bull might destroy things I don't like. You could Trump was too hardcore on COVID. Operation Warp Speed, all this stuff. But guess what? Trump's critics, what did they say? Not that he took too much power, that he didn't do enough. They didn't lock down enough. These are the same folks that deny, maybe science actually created this damn virus. But believe the science and stay locked in your home. Don't go to church. Don't actually have a business. We'll just print up a bunch of money. And the criticism of Trump, again, was not, he's doing too much. It said he's not locking down enough. It's like, screw these people, screw this system. Trump is incredibly imperfect. He's infuriating sometimes on particular issues when I wish he was better. But dadgummit, at this point, I've seen him attacked and attacked and attacked. And the worst people in the world get away with it that I want him. I love the guy at this point because of all the snares, all the arrows thrown his way.
If he loses, that's going to be why. It's the media effects and the negative impact that all this for the past month has had, the last couple of days is going to be people actually getting out to go vote because they're afraid that he's a fascist, that he's going to turn the military against them. I mean, you're looking at one of the most well orchestrated attacks that came from mainstream media. You know, didn't spend a penny on the campaign finance report and just had all that content generated against him. And that has an impact, whether we like it or not. People like us, you, the audience, we listen, we read, we educate ourselves. A lot of people who go vote, they don't. And they don't understand the complexity. All they understand is maybe one or two issues, and Trump's a bad guy.
But I'm just saying, that's where I come from. I don't think it convinces everybody. It's just, I know I'm not alone, that there are millions of Americans who have been watching this on a regular basis, and they're at the point of, oh, this isn't even pretending to be fair. And the infuriating part is the gaslighting. I've used this example before. Imagine it's the Iron Bowl, and all of a sudden, you know, it's a close game, and the strong safety like hits somebody pretty hard, crossing over the middle. It's actually not targeting, but they throw a flag, but it's not the yellow flag. It's not the challenge flag, if they even have that in college anymore. The guys upstairs, no, all of a sudden the back judge throws a black flag. Then he takes out a 9mm and shoots the strong safety in the chest. They roll him off, and then this is what's the crazy part. Everybody goes back like we're still just playing football. They do these things all the time, and I think they've done it enough. They've had to turn it up to 11, so to speak, where the average person goes, wait, I don't think we're playing a normal game here. I think these people are damn dirty cheaters. In every which way they can. I think they want to control outcomes for decades to come. I think they want to shred more and more American liberties and make people dumb and dependent like patrons of old. So I don't want them to win, obviously.
Oh, I don't want them to win either. But I'm just saying that I think that...
Are they going to pull it off? Maybe. It doesn't make me think, oh, all of a sudden they're legitimate, that they're not cheaters, that they're not some of the worst power-hungry people in the world that will try to censor you, that will destroy your reputation if you get too close to the flame. I'm not changing, and I don't think I'm alone. It's not about Trump. It's never been just about Trump. But what's happened is this guy became the embodiment of this angst. And you better believe at this point, I can't prove it. Who can? Why the hell don't we know who Thomas Matthew Crooks is? How did you not get into his phones? The guy who shoots the frickin' president, almost blows his head off on national TV. Well, we don't know anything about him. Screw y'all. Y'all tried to kill him. You tried to kill him. You tried to take out Biden. It was supposed to be Nikki Haley against Kamala. You bastards. So I'm not going back. And I don't care how many people you can manipulate, how many people you can fool, how many people you can get all hopped up on red, white, and blue and American ideals that you don't believe in. I'm not changing. So yeah, I had to get a little rant out. Because we can be measured about this. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to you personally. You still got to put your pants on in the day, go earn $1. Look out for your family. Yeah. But having watched this for years, for over a decade now, screw these people. They deserve to lose. And Trump deserves to finish the frickin' story without every powerful institution in this country cheating to bring him down. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your updated market report. So far this year through MLS, there have been over 4,000 closings in the river region. Sellers have been getting on the average of over 97% of the listed price. In this ever-changing real estate market, I've seen more price reductions on listings over the last 3 months than I've seen in years. It's time to act for a buyer. So we have a greater supply of homes for people to see before they buy. We have an average price of $261,000 in our area. Local mortgage companies have come up with really attractive plans for first-home homebuyers, such as down payment assistance, lender credits to help on the closing costs, and buy-down plans to buy down the starting rate for borrowers. Investing in yourself and your community is life-changing for first-home homebuyers. You need a buyer agent to represent your interest and give you great advice. For all this information, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Jim. Hey, Jim, how you doing, man?
Hey, boy, y'all need to lighten up in there.
Why?
Why? Your pollster buddy there, he sounds like he had a bad batch of prune juice for breakfast this morning. Anyway, I've just, first of all, the polls, polls are, I don't really trust the polls that much. Look at the polls in 16.
Oh, sure.
They were all screwed up, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't put too much in polls. Anyways, I got out. I got out this morning to vote in my 14th presidential election. It's hard to believe, but I got there. I voted at 7:30 at my polling place here in Prattville, and they had over 250 people had already voted in 30 minutes.
Wow.
Man, I mean, the line was out in the parking lot there. I guess I got it the wrong time. I'm retired, and I didn't think about it. And all these people going to work, and they were lined up.
I had the same idea. Eastmont Baptist Church here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. I'm like, let's get it done early. I drive up there at 7, and it's hundreds of people in line. I'm like, well, guess I'm going to work out and not stand there.
Yeah, and then by the time I waited in line, then when I got through voting and came back out, the line was about half what it was. I figured out it's true. I should have waited until about 30 minutes later.
Right.
I wouldn't have been waiting there.
Yeah, I went back at about 10:30, and it took me like 2 minutes to vote.
Yeah. Well, I think this is just my opinion. I think Trump's going to win this thing, and I'm going with my buddy on Gutfeld there, Mr. Tyrus.
Mm-hmm.
He said this thing won't even be close.
We shall see.
I think, and if this country does put that weirdo in the office, we're in deep trouble. We just better hope that the Republicans get control of Congress, because this woman belongs in the nut house. Anyways. Everybody get out there and vote now.
Appreciate the call.
Alabama's no trouble in Alabama with Trump, but
well, get out, vote for Caroline Dobson.
That's right. Got Caroline.
I appreciate it, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, buddy. Yep.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing, and they're at Cole Plumbing. James and the team are ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing needs. It could be you're looking for basic problem to be solved, like low water pressure, clogged drain.
Right.
Or it could be a bigger job, like a huge leak inside or outside your home. Well, Cole Plumbing can get that problem solved without having to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard to find the leak. No, with precision expertise with this proprietary pipelining technology they have there unique to Cole Plumbing, they can fix that for you with minimal discomfort to you and your home. They can also help you upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system, or maybe you want a taller toilet or new accessories in the shower and the kitchen.
They can do all that.
They can help you with all of that there at Cole Plumbing. So check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com or just call them at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. On this Election Day 2024, Donald Trump has cast his ballot in Palm Beach, Florida, and says his latest presidential campaign was the best yet. Trump says with all the technology election officials have, there should be no delay in announcing a winner. Vice President and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris finished her presidential campaign in Philadelphia last night. Harris says heading into Election Day, the momentum is on her side. Tens of millions of Americans had already cast their ballot, voting by mail and early in-person voting. Bernard Bernie Marcus, the co-founder of the Home Depot, the world's largest home improvement chain, a billionaire philanthropist, and a big Republican donor, has died. He was 95. On Wall Street, the Dow had 410 points, the NASDAQ adding 250. This is SRN News.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
On this election day, it's a breezy, warm forecast, high around 83. I've got the rain chances 20% or less, so you could see a shower through this evening, but most places stay dry. Winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chances 30% after midnight tonight, and then scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. 50-50 chance, high around 80. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highs in the upper 70s with the risk of scattered showers at times. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Montgomery County is joining a nationwide campaign that shows support for veterans by illuminating buildings green this week. During Operation Green Light for Veterans, Montgomery County's courthouse will be bathed in green light to show our community's gratitude and commitment to those who have served. The Montgomery City Council meets today and will likely consider a rezoning proposal that could cause an uproar. Developers want the land on the corner of Ray Thornton Road and Pike Road rezoned for commercial development. Many residents and 4 homeowners associations are calling on the Montgomery City Council to vote the proposal down. Although some neighboring states opened voting polls as early as October 15th, Alabama does not allow ballots cast before Election Day. However, some organizations are pushing for that to change. The League of Women Voters is already preparing a bill for the next legislative session to allow early voting in Alabama. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And we go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Of course, we're calling this thing online Joey Clark Alive. You can watch on X at the Joey Clark, on Facebook, or Joey Clark Live on YouTube. And let's shift gears a little bit to not our own sense of things.
All right.
But some of the names out there online. Now, maybe this is copium, maybe it's hopium. Who knows what it is? But here's Mark Halperin. He's very much in the camp of the numbers aren't working out for Democrats. Let's hear his argument.
Early vote matches, as I said, what we've seen other places. Disappointing turnout in Philadelphia. Go ahead and put up the Philadelphia, the Pennsylvania chart, please. Okay. Not enough vote coming from Philadelphia. Lots of votes coming from rural. So this chart looks at 2020, 2022, and 2024 in the.
I'm going to pause it there and leave it up. It's up on the stream, folks, if you want to look at the chart with us. So GOP returns versus Dem returns. In 2020, it was 1.6 million Dem returns to 580,000 Republican return.
Mm-hmm.
In 2022, it was 800,000 Dem returns to just shy of 250,000 GOP returns. In 2024 so far, it's 1 million Dem returns to 590,000 GOP returns. So the GOP's up from 23% of this early vote in 2020 to 32.8%. The Democrats are down from 65.5% in 2020 to 55% in 2024. And this is just Pennsylvania. But let's hear his explanation of this.
Early vote, the mail-in vote. And the most important thing I think to look at is where it says GOP returns and Dem returns. So you see in 2020, the GOP returns were 580,000 and the Democratic return ballots were 1.6 million. Okay. Almost over a million vote difference on the early vote. And then go to the first column and you see the Republican returns are slightly higher, almost 600,000, but the Democratic returns are down 600,000 from 2020. Okay. So again, in a world where vast majority of Republicans are going to vote Republican, vast majority of Democrats are going to vote Democrats, Democrats have a big lead. They have a 400,000 vote lead. But we know, just as we knew Democrats would have more votes early than Republicans, we know that Republicans will have more votes on election day than Democrats. So if this is the final lead, and I think we'll get another round here, but we will get another round, or maybe two. But this means that Democrats in 2020 went into election day with over 1 million vote lead, and they barely won the state. They won the state by less than 100,000 votes. And this time they go into election day with about a 400,000 vote lead. Okay, that's a big difference, right? So what explains the fall off? It's some combination of a lack of organic enthusiasm for Kamala Harris and the vaunted Harris turnout operation not being able to turn out as many early votes as they did 4 years ago. So are those two factors going to be different on election day? It's very hard for me to see how she's going to win Pennsylvania if you're just looking at this. If you're just looking at this, it's very hard to see. And as I've told you before, I believe we're going to learn after the election that the Trump campaign had some tricks up their sleeve regarding get out the vote. Okay. Now they're both in Pennsylvania. Been in Pennsylvania today. She's spending her day there. She's got a big concert tonight. Maybe Democrats are going to flood to the polls on election day, and they won't. And they go in with a cushion of 400,000 or so. Other big tea leaf today in Pennsylvania is Bob Casey, who previously had run an ad bragging about his working with Donald Trump favorably. No ads talking about him with Kamala Harris. Here is the closing ad for Bob Casey's campaign in Pennsylvania.
I'm Bob Casey, and I approve this message.
4 candidates for Senate. Who's standing up to China? It's Bob Casey, who stood with Donald Trump to put tariffs on China to protect American jobs. Dave McCormick, he sold us out to China, getting rich by investing in China's military and investing in China's biggest fentanyl producer.
Wall Street Republican David McCormick, he is absolutely the candidate of special interests and globalists.
Wow. So that ad's doing a lot of business, right? It's promoting the third party candidates who they think will take vote away from Dave McCormick, and it's linking himself to Trump again. And again, if you look at that, you'd say Bob Casey thinks Kamala Harris is not the person to hitch his wagon to in the final days of the campaign.
So that's Mark Halpern's breakdown of just Pennsylvania, which I think is going to be crucial. That's fascinating. Those early vote numbers, it really is. It's an increase, I would say, for the GOP. It's not, them seem to have the same return rate. How many folks are actually voting early? It didn't drop off that much. It is a little bit of a drop off in terms of just how many people are excited in 2020. That's for certain. But I think that's, well, a good sign. And when you see Senate candidates that are Democrat Senate candidates, and this is not just Pennsylvania, this is happening in other spots too, where they're sort of giving Trump a big bear hug. Yeah. To win. It means they're worried about certain things.
I think it's that they know that the people who are against Trump are against him, but there's a residual or a little net gain from some of these low propensity voters who don't necessarily, have an axe to grind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It really does. In a second, I want to go to a completely different methodology. People did some work and found the guy who put a $40 million bet on Polymarket for Trump to win.
The French guy?
The French guy. Mm-hmm. And it's an interview with the French trader on why did he put $40 million down for a Trump win? That's a lot.
Plays golf for Phil Cox? I don't know.
It feels cocky, man.
Wait, is his name Phil Mickelson? I didn't know he was French. 272-9228. Let's go to Eagle. Hey, Eagle, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, everybody? My thing is, I'm listening to you guys, and you're bumping hard and everything. You're doing what you do. And you know what? My hat's off to you, first of all, in all respect, as a station that can reach out and touch many. My thing is that, what's going on? What's really happening? Are we using money over trying to get to some kind of narrative for the whole United States? And it's even its allies. Where are we? I mean, what are we doing? What somebody talk to me.
No, I think you're right. It's a mess. And you think about how much money it's spent. I think when you include the campaigns and super PACs, something like $16 billion. Wow. Probably more than that in terms of like how much money indirectly with media coverage. So yeah, you think about all the talent, all the money, all the time and energy. It all goes into this one moment. And how much did people actually learn? How much did people actually get brought together? And how much are people actually represented? I wonder, I would ask both Republicans and Democrats, say your candidate wins, are you really like, oh, all right, it's going to work out this time? It's a mess, man. And it's sort of like a bizarro world of what you think of as American politics.
Absolutely. And that's the point that I was driving at. Again, thank you for answering that question. I mean, it was already in my mind. I kind of, it's like, everybody talking about space beams and all these other things going on. I mean, man, that's a greater power than what we're facing, man. I mean, the whole global thing. I mean, we're in a world of trouble just with the universe.
Well, wait. That like if aliens show up tomorrow, I want Trump to be president because that's the most entertaining outcome.
You better stop. Wait a minute. Bang up. It doesn't matter who wins, really. The fact is, man, where are we? Where are you? Where are you? When you lay down at night, do you want a person that's been locked up for murder to be able to walk because, listen, somebody got away with it, and we just sweep it under the bridge? Really? Is that what you really want? You need to talk to me. Let me listen.
Do you want somebody who got away with murder to just get away scot-free?
And break into your house, kill your wife, kill your families and everything. Come on, man.
No. Obviously, I don't want those things.
That guy ain't getting away.
Right.
Please listen. Please listen to me. Why do we have to have so much fear in a system where we all plays a role? Everybody plays a role, man, in this game, man. You go to work, you work. I mean, you're at work now, and you're going to get a lunch break. Are you really going to throw all that away for just anger? And I don't like the way this man dressed. I don't like him. I don't like her hair look, or I don't like her because she such and such. Come on, really? What are we doing, man? For real? I mean, this thing is crazy, man. If it was okay, just the spiritual realm, whatever your religion may be it Jehovah's Witness, Catholic, Jewish, whatever your religion is, and I think I cover all of them because I guess I'm the mutt in the whole mix, okay? But what I can say is this. That's the baddest dog in the yard because he got some of everything in him. And he's not going to be impartial towards nobody. But if you mess with him, he will bite. And that's what we are. Are we all, in some case, are mutts? And we ready to bite the first thing that do us wrong or offend us in any kind of infashionable way of reality. Come on, man. Talk to me. Everything is self-explanatory. And thank you for allowing me this time to speak to you because as I speak to you, I'm looking at the sun through the trees on how we had to have oxygen down here on this earth.
I think in many ways life is still beautiful. For instance, as I was last week, even though the Yankees lost, it was fun to be able to sit with my 88-year-old grandfather who's a lifelong Yankee fan and talk about the old days and the glory days of baseball. And I, for a second, looked at Twitter and saw the political stuff. I go, man, all this political crap ain't as important as this conversation I'm having right now. It's more the anger is more like I've been watching this for over a decade now. And of course I have feelings about it, but it is not at the end of the day real life. These screens we look at, whether it's these small phone screens or our TV screens or our computer screens, they're not true filters to the world. In many ways, they're stilted. They put particular lenses on you. And yeah, I think it does divide people. I've said over and over again on these airwaves, I can rant with the best of them, but your neighbor is not your enemy. In fact, you should probably get to know your neighbor. You should understand that if stuff really does hit the fan, it's not going to be about, what media and what propaganda you listen to. It's going to be about actual character, who's going to look out for one another. So it's, I think our politics, again, it does lead to bizarre world, but it's what we got.
But let me say this. When you said neighbor, to my neighbor, one of my neighbors, I got two homes, one rest home and one home, to just start a little group where we can have a little bit more peace and a little bit more community conversations, right?
Yeah.
And almost like what you said with a Tomcast and all that. But what it is with that. My neighbor told me she would come and kick my door down and send her coons over there and beat my butt because she don't think I'm all that, and that I won't be with her. So when you say neighbors, I kind of gotta watch that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're Rand Paul and your neighbor breaks your ribs for putting leaves in his yard, I mean, I mean that generally. Like if your neighbor has no home training, has a bug up her butt, like okay.
So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was trying to get a point. The point was that I got to be ready to protect myself regardless of anything that's willing to violate my space.
Sure.
I got to be willing to. It's just only right. That's what we do as Americans. I mean, we go out and we fight foreign and domestic. In some case, we are the police of the world. In some case, we have been operate, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when all the parties start fighting against each other, and we fighting right here in the United States, and we talking about a president, and it's just going to be Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Come on now. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We as a people should have enough power to say right is right and wrong is wrong, and we stand on that. And that's what we do as a citizen of the United States of America. That's what we need to do. Ain't no playing around with this, man. This is a serious situation. You got people that done been in jail for tax evasion. You got people that done been in jail for all these different things. These felony charges. Are we really ready to just throw everything in? Let's have a town in there. Let's do that. I'll be okay with that. If that's what you want to do, divide and separate. Okay, well, let's do that. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. It really doesn't matter about this election.
I want my wrestler to win the main event of WrestleMania. That's what I want. And if I'm hooting and hollering, or I want Auburn to beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, we're spectators. Most of us are spectators in this game.
You got it, man. You got the point. Look, man, I want to thank you for listening, all right?
Yeah, appreciate it, Eagle. Thanks for calling, man.
What about those who just love the game, you know?
Just love the game?
Yeah. Can tune in without having a side to root for. They just want to see a good game played.
Come on.
This isn't the place for that.
No, come on, man. Like, I see what you're saying, and I often say that about sports. Like, if I don't have a dog in the hunt, but really, you go into the Iron Bowl, like, I just want to see a good game.
What about
Come on.
What about in an election? Can I not just hope that I have two good candidates and it's a campaign that's run kind of above the fray, and we're not trying to kneecap any candidate?
Did you transform into Aaron Sorkin? What is this?
No, I'm just playing different person. Apparently,
no, it would be nice
I was a little
if
too
people
negative.
could be. And actually, I think the future does look bright in that regard. I think you're going to see more and more candidates that sit down for a 3-hour thing and have a conversation about stuff and disagree. I think that is the next generation coming up. There's still, of course, the very much bought and paid for corporate creatures, puppets that are being put in our midst as well. But I think more and more, it's that sort of willingness to go out on a limb, be yourself, be genuine. I mean, and everybody's always going to have their angle and whatnot. But if you actually can hold your own for a 3-hour conversation, I think it could get back to being a little bit above board. The problem is there are, I think, so many things that were taken for granted over decades, like certain agreements that folks that came back from the war had, certain agreements that were made after the hullabaloo that was the 1960s and the economic doldrums that was the 1970s. And it's why I asked Judge Knapp about Reagan in 84, where he wins 49 of 50 states. And so that means there is agreement. Like the nation really is united. And I think that good feeling, even with the back and forth, goes into the H.W. Bush era, goes into the Clinton era. And these institutions and these sort of agreements we've had for a few generations now, yeah, they're holding strong. And it starts to fray, I think, actually around 2012. The social media really starts to get going. And then that first Trump win is when the institutions that used to be real, real strong ain't as strong as they used to be. And in fact, you've got these just meme lords. You've got people who are ne'er-do-wells online running laps around these people. And that's not going away. And in fact, it's gotten stronger the last few cycles. And it's not just about media wars. It's about, okay, why do we really need this regulatory department, that regulatory department? Why do we have all these laws? Aren't you sick of how the big institutions or the big banks or big farm, yada, 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 that always get what they want, no matter how the people vote? Where folks more and more are starting to realize, and including big names, that, yeah, the fix is sort of in. And this is America, though, at the end of the day. We've done this many times before, where you have a sort of crisis, a breakdown in confidence. And I think God bless this country, because I don't think it's going to go back to 1860s. I don't even think it's going to go back to the 1960s. I think we're going to have it out. But at the end of the day, I think Americans, if you set them free and allow them to rebuild, we're going to do it the right way.
By and large, I agree with that. I guess my only pushback would be one side is going to say that the other side's responsible for the breakdown. You know,
Yeah.
I think that we come at it from a us versus them, just the establishment, Democrats and Republicans, and more people are kind of falling into, you know, our camp. But for the masses, it's still red jersey, blue jersey. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have time.
But less so than it was a few years ago.
Marginally.
Yeah, but that's the only change you can really hope for.
Progress.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it really is progress of a kind. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Let's go to Sparky. Hey, Sparky, how you doing?
Hey, we're good. I'm out here at Tri-City Baptist here in Millbrook, and we've got about a 23% turnout.
About midday, 23%.
Well, I know. Yeah, I think we usually get around 40%. And here's this crazy thing. The last time we ran a general election, we had about 2,900 registered voters. This year we've got 4,865. So 40% is a lot bigger number, you know, in one respect. But you would think there'd be more people voting, but yeah, we'll see. I mean,
Well, that's been an issue, and Alabama's a unique thing. If you go look at the ballot, you fill out the day, you can do the presidential race, and then there's if you're in the district, the Shamari Figures, Caroline Dobson race. I've, of course, voted for Trump and Dobson. But then you go look, all these judicial races, it's either a Republican unopposed or a few other judicial races, a Democrat unopposed.
A lot of unopposed.
A lot of unopposed.
And one amendment about can a school district that got land from the 1800s actually, it's in different counties, sell the land to their own benefit. Like there's not, I see why Alabamians aren't like that excited, because the local races are limited.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have liked to see, well, we'll see how it ends at the end of the day.
Yes, sir. Always great hearing from you, Sparky.
Okay. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Sparky. Yeah, I got a call while ago from someone that was at Glenwood Baptist Church in Prattville, and they said they've already had 1,500 people show up. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We'll see.
That's the only prediction I feel confident in. Record turnout this election.
In Alabama?
Nationally.
Nationally, yeah.
I think we're going to break the high water mark.
But and I've read today that there's heavy voting, you know, presence, but I read that at 8:30 this morning, so I have a hard time accepting that. I was there at 7:30, but the rest of the United States is behind us. So
my favorite time to go kind of run numbers is about an hour after lunch.
Okay.
I can pretty much say, you know, double what the number or the box is at 1:30 or 2. That's about what it's going to be when it finally closes.
Interesting.
Get through lunch, because most cases, your largest crowd is going to come after work, not in the morning, but
that's
after
what I
work.
figured, especially this morning, because so many were crowded. People were leaving and planning on coming back.
This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And there at Pest Pro, Ashley and that great team are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. And, you know, really, you should just make them your everyday pest control company.
For sure, Joey.
I mean, Eddie, you've worked with them on many a job, but it pays to, like, essentially know them, like have a good relationship with them.
With me, especially with our Airbnb, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
I mean, that's the greatest part. There's no worries. I don't worry when they're coming. I don't worry when they're going. They'll send me a text. Hey, we're going this afternoon. Is that good for you? Yep. And then after they go, they tell me if they found anything. 99%, I get a clean bill of health.
There you go.
It's been great. It's a great relationship with.
And it could be something that's more of an emergency where you're like, why all these spiders around my house?
Yes.
Why am
Or
I getting webbed every time I
wasp
leave my
outbreak.
door? Oh God, like a false fall
Yeah.
wasp.
Yeah.
Ooh.
In the ground? No, thank you.
I'm still worried about those things.
They're hunting you.
Folks, you got to go with Pest Pro Services for any and all of your pest control needs. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. You know, when you look back on this campaign cycle, like, what a spectacle this has been.
100%, man.
Seriously.
Remember how much news would be breaking in like 3 or 4 days' time? About
Right.
the campaign and about the people in the campaign. Things I wouldn't think I'd hear in a lifetime. I've heard 3 or 4 times now.
Now, one of my, I would say, muses, all the way back to the 1920s, part of the old right, the Tory anarchist, as some described him. I think he was just an individualist and read too much Nietzsche. But H.L. Mencken. This is one quote you're not going to see often, but it's about American politics. And essentially it's his Ain't That America essay. And on politics, he says, quote, I hold that this elevation of politics to the plane of undiluted comedy is peculiarly American. That nowhere else on this disreputable ball, I think he's talking about planet Earth.
I think he is, Joey.
Has the art of the sham battle been developed to such fineness? But as I was saying earlier, $16 billion has been spent. Think of all the like publicity stunts, the sordid Machiavellian schemes, like the body promises and lies, and just, it's just been over the top.
Yeah.
But I think back in particular the moments that catch my imagination, and I think of them looking at it right now. I think of the mugshot, like the whole criminal pursuit of Trump. And it's like, you know, the reason why they take a mugshot? Like the normal reason, like say we got arrested, why would they take a mugshot? It's to just identify the person that they arrested.
Yeah.
For the court and for the authorities. Donald Trump is the most photographed and identifiable person in the world, arguably. There was no need to take a mugshot when you arraigned him in Fulton County. But they did it anyway. I think they went too far.
Well, a lot of times, I mean, you're right. It's for identification, but in this day and time, it's more for shame.
Well, because he had been arraigned and other stuff, they didn't take mugshots in other courts. They decided for some reason, well, we're going to get him with a mugshot, and it creates one of the most iconic photos in American history.
Forgive me, I can't remember. Was he smiling?
No, here it is.
He was growling.
It's like it is a subtle. It is
a bit angry.
How could I forget
It is
that?
intense, man.
You know, the defense attorneys tell you you should smile.
Right. He's like, I thought about it, but it's like, I just looked down the barrel. And then Trump turned around and started saying, Trump, digital trading cards, if you get first 40, get a piece of the suit.
That's right.
That I was wearing when I took the mugshot.
Right. Comes with a free Bible. Or
Yeah,
without?
that's a whole other.
Okay.
So the mugshot is a perfect example of like how every time they would go after Trump criminally, his popularity would go up.
Yep.
They raid his home in a dramatic way. The FBI does.
100%.
His popularity goes up. People rally around him. It's like you want him to win the primary. Because remember, DeSantis was going to challenge him,
Yep.
Nikki Haley, all these folks. So the mugshot sticks out. Now, the next movie, if you fast forward, is that first debate. And, you know, there's some who think this was a stress test for Biden by his own team. There are others that get a little even more cynical. They're like, no, this was a setup to get the old man out of the way. I tend to think I agree with the latter.
I do too, Joey.
Because of the way it was done, how the CNN moderators, Dana Bash and Jake Tapper, were on their best behavior and didn't help Biden at all, which is very much out of character.
Let him have just enough rope.
Yeah. Yeah, but when he said, we beat Medicare, and then Trump follows up, yep, you beat it to death, Joe, you beat. It's like, okay, he's done. He's absolutely done politically. But then what's amazing is he holds on. He's sitting there going, I'm not dropping out. I'm still the guy. And you think, well, maybe he survives this because there's this whole behind the scenes campaign and like nobody believed it, either like Kamala Harris, because you had people calling it, like Vivek Ramaswamy very prominently on that NBC primary debate stage,
right.
called them out and said, just tell us who your nominee's going to be. We know it's not going to be Biden.
Yep.
And he wasn't the only one. There are a lot of folks who are like, they're going to do the switcheroo. But I don't think Joe ever actually thought they could pull it off.
I agree.
I don't think Joe ever thought he could be moved away, that the king could be taken out. And maybe that's his own hubris or his own, like, he's just high all the time on life and Adderall. Like, you know, I don't know what it was. But remember what actually pushes Biden out, I think. What's the final straw? Is you think, okay, we got the mugshot, we got the rating of the president's home, we've got, wait, Joe Biden, like, craps his pants on national TV on the debate stage? Like, what's going on? Very soon after that, there's some weeks that go by. Biden's still holding on. That's when the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania goes down. The Republican convention happens, and it's genuinely joyous. It's like a celebration of Trump's life. Because I remember how I felt when I saw, oh my God, is he dead?
Yeah.
Because you see the first video came out is you see him grab his ear, you see blood, he goes down. And you're like, did he get shot in other spots?
Right.
Because that wouldn't like quickly show up. Is this guy dead? And then when he gets up and starts pumping that fist, now you want to talk more iconic than the mugshot, these photos of blood streaming down his face. The American flag perfectly framed in the background.
Right.
And again, due to my earlier rant, how do we still not know who the heck the shooter was? He's dead. He's cremated. We know nothing about him. We can't get into his apps.
What about
yes,
the
you
second
can.
one? Same thing with the second one. They still haven't tried to get in those photos.
Right. But it's that moment where, okay, the assassination attempt happens. He survives. The RNC is, it's almost like a wake, but the guy's still alive. It's that weekend after the RNC that Biden drops out, not by giving a speech, not by, like, you know, announcing this directly into the camera to the American people. They put out a photo, a PDF of a letter on Twitter. Biden's own staff, many of them, are learning this on the X platform. And then there's this shuffle around, and all Kamala's the nominee after they have this behind-the-scenes primary, as they claim. And so you're like, okay, I guess it's Kamala Harris. And that's when the joy started up. And she's the greatest thing. And let's bring in a truly star-studded cast of characters to say she's the next Barack Obama, but she's a woman. And remember Roe v. Wade. And read your Margaret Atwood.
How can you forget?
Right. And then we get to the debate. The second debate.
I still think he won that.
See, I think in many ways, though, she got under his skin to a good effect for her. But what I love is, and this is classic Trump again, you think, oh, we're going to arrest him, we're going to take a mugshot. No, the mugshot makes him more popular. He's now selling T-shirts with the mugshot on it.
Yep.
He's selling pieces of the suit when he took the mugshot. In the same way, what was supposedly the worst gaffe of that debate, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. It takes about 12 to 24 hours for the internet to turn that into a dance craze.
Yep.
And in many ways, a new theme for lesbians of America. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. I'm like, what the heck is happening to this country? It is Bizarro World. We're in the Mirror universe. And so you think, well, Trump's done there. Normal candidate is done after saying something like that. Nope.
No.
Now America's just laughing and dancing. It's just, it's like, and it also gets people talking about this huge influx of migrants.
That was it. They were attacking the what. They never wanted to address the who.
And then you go ahead, and what does Trump do? How does he start to get the momentum? He's doing a lot of the podcast, and I think it really is helping him. Harris is also just miserable in so many of these interviews.
Oh, she's failing.
Like the
in her
shine
role.
starts to fall off. You can only do so much with a star-studded convention. As she's sitting down in friendly interviews, she's not doing well. People are being reminded of who she is, like why she was so unpopular as vice president. But then Trump starts with the publicity stunts and the trolling. And it's this whole like, Kamala never worked at McDonald's. And these images from McDonald's, it drove people crazy in corporate media. And it made you genuinely go, okay, this guy, like he seems in his element. And if you listen to his sons on, say, these podcasts, they said, I think Patrick Bet-David asked Don Jr. or Eric Trump, like, how did you, y'all seem to have worked out pretty well. Yeah, I think it was to Eric Trump. You're now like the COO of the whole organization. You seem well adjusted. You don't seem like one of these trust fund kids who's done too much coke or whatever. And he's like, how did that happen? He said, my dad, by the time we were like 11 or 12, said, hey, you want money? Go get a job. And he would set them up with contractors on different buildings and whatnot. Go work with your hands.
Yeah.
Go get to know these people that actually build our buildings, that actually make things work. And you're like, huh. When you look at the Trump organization, you've got people that started as greeters at the door or low-level positions who are now executives and have been with the company 20-something years. Yep. And you're like, huh. And you start to see that come through in these publicity stunts. How Trump, though he's a billionaire, and though he's sort of born into that privilege, he has this uncanny ability to connect with everyday people. Now, in a second, I want to get into one that I think is the best political speech of the cycle. And to give a hint, I don't think Trump gave it. And I certainly don't think Kamala Harris gave it.
Rami?
Who?
Vivek?
No.
No?
I voted for Vivek in the primary, but it wasn't even Vivek.
Excuse me.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. This part of the program, first brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And man, they're so ready. They're so ready for that ladies' night. Y'all ready for ladies' night?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be on Thursday, November the 7th from 5:30 to 7:30. And it's going to be a great time. Josh sent me a sneak peek preview of he restored a pearl and diamonds Art Nouveau antique necklace circa 1890 to 1910.
Oh, wow.
And it has like these two dragons on it. This is like he said he couldn't just put it in the melt pile. Look at this piece. And he restored it. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's stuff like that you'll be able to see for one night only at this Diamonds and Pearls Ladies Night event. So, Christmas being right around the corner, you can get an amazing Christmas gift. Say you're going to vote for Trump, the wife doesn't like it. Hey, honey, here's an amazing Diamonds and Pearls set. But with Christmas right around the corner, come pick out your Christmas gifts, fill out that wish list, bring a friend, and it's going to be a great relaxed party atmosphere. I'm going to be there. I think, Eddie, y'all are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And just get a sneak peek at some beautiful jewelry. You can get a gift bag, first come, first serve, a great spread of food. It's going to be a great night. Again, this is 2 days away, Thursday night, 5:30 to 7:30, November the 7th, is ladies' night. Y'all be there. And y'all be sure, if you want to check out Dillon Rings beforehand, you can always just stop by 119 Brown Springs Road.
That's right, Joey.
Just off of Atlanta Highway. Be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, this is Pam with All About the Bounce. We have been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for a little over a month now and have seen great results. Thank you, Blue Water, for helping us to bring the bounce to more customers across the river region. Radio advertisement is definitely the best advertisement.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
Montgomery Men's Health has years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call Montgomery Men's Health at 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now. Dial 334-440-3663 or visit montgomerymenshealth.com. Montgomery Men's Health, making it happen.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
For more information, send an email to digital@BlueWaterBroadcasting.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather. On this election day, it's a breezy, warm forecast, high around 83. I've got the rain chances 20% or less, so you could see a shower through this evening, but most places stay dry. Winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chances 30% after midnight tonight, and then scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. 50-50 chance, high around 80. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highs in the upper 70s with the risk of scattered showers at times. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Get 0% financing up to 48 months with approved credit. Now on select Kubota track loaders and excavators. Get a Kubota now through December 31st, 2024. See Capital Tractor Montgomery and Brundage or KubotaUSA.com for details.
Ah, Igor, don't you just love the sound of thunder? No, Dr. Frankenstein. It's scary. But I need a lightning bolt to bring the monster to life.
Actually, lightning is scary. A single strike within a mile of your home can send a tidal wave of voltage through the wires, burning out your computers, TVs, and GFCI plugs, even refrigerators and ovens.
Oh, drat! Missed us again.
But here's the good news. The trained technicians at Crosby Electric can install an economical whole house system to protect you from electrical surges caused by lightning, downed power lines, nearby factories, or just the recycling of your own appliances.
Igor, why am I not getting a surge? Well, I have a pretty good hunch. Why, yes, Igor, and a fine hunch it is.
Igor ordered whole house surge protection from Crosby Electric. So should you. Visit crosbyelectric.com or call 272-2085.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Happy everybody. Well, election's wrong about, but anyway, I think it's going to be the last opportunity, the last golden chance to get a crack at the JFK assassination files. I think everything's right now with Trump being the attempt on him for him to open that up, and let's see how far this goes back and how deep it was. And I think Trump knows. I think he knows he was, he was the next one.
We'll see. And Trump kind of suggested to Rogan that there were people who are still alive who don't want it released, which is interesting.
Well, I think the CIA, Secret Service, all of them were in cahoots, and they wanted Kennedy out of there for multiple reasons, and they took their opportunity. I think one day it will come out, and if Trump, is in there, he's got a set to release it, but I don't think any Democrats, will do it.
Agreed.
Have a good day, gentlemen.
Appreciate it, Simpler Days. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Mr. Pink.
Hey, Mr. Pink. How you doing?
All right. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
All right.
Okay, yeah. I didn't mean to call on Election Day, but I didn't expect to have today off, so said I was going to give you guys a call, man. How you guys feeling about it?
I'm kind of all over the place. I'm at this point, I'm like, I want Trump to win, but I don't know. Like, we're spectators in this.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic.
Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I know it's still going to be a divide, man, because I remember when Obama was president. You guys can remember, just think about all the things that were said about Trump, and then you can just reverse it for Obama. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad to get this over with.
Wait, that Trump was born in Kenya?
Oh, no, they said a lot of bad things about Trump. Like I said, same about Obama.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, that's why I'm ready to get this thing over with. I've been asking you guys before, like, where do we go after the election? Because win or lose, I believe Trump is going to get dumped quick, like I said, win or lose. Because I just feel like, just like being in one of those marriages, you just kind of want to get out of it, but you're married, So that's just my opinion, because, like I said, all the things that you would think, like I said, about Reagan, like 49 out of 50 states, or 52 states, or whatever you want. But, he said all those things to win at his back, I just don't see it right now, man. I don't see it. I don't see the support for Trump like it should be. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. And I believe it's just a lot of people that's just like they're going to sit home. I may be wrong, because I would love for Trump to get in there. I would love for that to happen, because I don't want this great country to go to hell, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, and like I said, I think at this point, we've done what we could do, and it's looking at battlegrounds and returns tonight. And I mean, at the end of the day, no matter who wins, like I was saying earlier, you got to go make ends meet and look out for the people you love. And hopefully the so-called ruling elite don't screw things up too much.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you bring two gang members together? Like, you got a Blood over here, you got a Crip over here. How do you make them work together?
Common enemy is one way.
Yeah, a fabricated one, huh? Like a 9/11 or something?
Yeah, that would be, I think, a pretty awful scenario. That's one way you bring people together, is some foreign thing. And it didn't seem to work as much, though, this last few years.
For about 2.5 weeks that worked, and then the parties pulled them back apart.
Yeah.
Well, man, I hope we get it together, man. I think it's going to be a big run back to Jesus, because I can say for the last years or so, man, it's just that like that, what kind of country are we leaving behind for our children and grandchildren? It doesn't get said anymore.
Right.
But I think a lot of that back to the basics is coming back. That's why I believe, like I said, once Trump win or lose, I believe people are going to start moving away from him.
Well, we shall see. I hope folks do find a footing or a foundation they didn't build themselves to stand on before we get back into the political arguments. Yeah.
All right. But let me go, man. I won't be able to call like I used to. I switched jobs up. I saw where things were going. I said, let me go ahead and get the best job with the most. I said I was trying to get to 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little over 80 right now. So, but I can't talk on the phone, during the day. So
of course.
Can't listen either. But yeah, I'm about a little over 80, a little overtime, might be a little over 90. So
there you go.
Love it.
That's what people should have been doing, man. That's what people should have been doing.
That's
and
right.
also on the dock. I'm on the dock. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, 40 to 50% of dock workers are immigrants. They're from Guatemala. They're from El Salvador. They're from somewhere in Asia. They're from all over the place. And I'm like, man, because I'm thinking, because I worked at Mobile Aerospace back in the day, and I was thinking, like, people come from, like I say, Guatemala, Mexico, they come right in their contract, you know, and it's the same thing here. So somebody giving them the jobs, and they getting paid, too. So,
there you go.
Yeah, tell anybody, too, they hiring like a lot of doctors. So come out here and get that money, man.
Well, I appreciate the call, man, on your day off, and God bless.
Yes, sir. You too.
That's one of the things that upsets me to no end still, the amount of jobs that were lost, you know, early 90s, late 80s, shipping everything off, you know, free trade, NAFTA, all that. Great, free markets. All right, so we ship those jobs off. Now we have incentive to come back and, you know, made in the USA, but instead of employing Americans, we bring a bunch of H1A, H2As or 2Bs in, you know, depending on whatever it is. That's just a gripe I have.
Oh, it's a product of, I think, the Uniparty for certain.
Yep.
This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with, well, if you're looking to buy, they can walk you through that home buying process from pre-approval all the way to closing day. There ain't going to be any surprises on closing day. They really are great folks to help you through that process if you've never done it before, or maybe you've done it before, but you want somebody you can really trust.
Right.
Who's not constantly trying to upsell you these sorts of things. You know what I'm talking
Don't
about?
want to be sold things you don't need, Joey.
Right. No, they're looking out for you and your best interest there at Alabama Home Mortgage. And all the rage these days, at least people thinking about it, is a refinance deal. People kind of looking at interest rate environments. Where's the economy going? What's going to happen with this election? Well, don't wait. Call them today. Call them on election day. Get a plan going. At least get a conversation going. Let Kim and Madeline understand why you're thinking about refinancing, what your goal is in that, and they can help you out. 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Got to hit the top of our break, but, you know, I was saying earlier, the best political speech of this cycle wasn't Trump.
Right.
Wasn't Vivek, wasn't Kamala, wasn't Joe. RFK Jr. When he dropped out of the race and he threw his weight behind Trump, that is a speech that, if you're talking about a realignment, that maybe it's culminates in this election today, or maybe it's more down the road, that speech is one of the crossroads where it's like, okay, not only did he drop out, he gave a history of the country, he gave a history of his party, his family's party, and a history of the press. And he sort of gave, I think, incredible reasons for wanting a shift. And, you know, we won't play it here. It's like, it's a very long speech, but it reminded me of America maybe we once knew and maybe we can have again. Final hour here on Election Day coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A presidential campaign marked by upheaval and rancor is reaching its finale. Americans voting on Election Day whether to send Donald Trump back to the White House or elevate Kamala Harris to the Oval Office. Voters mostly encountering a smooth process around the country, with isolated reports of some hiccups that regularly happen, including long lines, technical issues, and ballot printing errors. The National Weather Service reporting 4 likely tornadoes and possibly more in northeastern Oklahoma and northwestern Arkansas, with no deaths or injuries reported, however. The storms come a day after tornadoes injured at least 11 people in the Oklahoma City area in central Oklahoma. Stocks sharply higher, the Dow up 366 points, the Nasdaq adding 231. This is SRN News.
Our nation's problems have been building for the past 50 years, and they're not going away overnight, which is why we must prepare now for a financial collapse that will affect the entire economy. The good news is there's an easy way to do that. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe everyone should consider a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group to diversify their IRA or 401k. Gold is a proven bedrock in almost every kind of economy. To learn more, get a free info kit from my trusted friends at Birch Gold by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Don't wait until decades of government irresponsibility comes crashing down on your retirement. Get your free info kit on gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group now. Text PREPARE to the number 989898. That's PREPARE to 989898.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. On this election day, it's a breezy, warm forecast, high around 83. I've got the rain chances 20% or less, so you could see a shower through this evening, but most places stay dry. Winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Rain chances 30% after midnight tonight, and then scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. 50-50 chance, high around 80. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, highs in the upper 70s with the risk of scattered showers at times. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
U.S. Senator Katie Britt is seeking once again to get the U.S. Senate to vote on the Laken-Riley Act after it's already been passed by the U.S. House, but delayed from a vote in the Senate at least twice. The legislation from Britt would require the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency to arrest illegal aliens who commit crimes here on U.S. soil. The legislation also gives each state a legal pathway to challenge federal officials who are refusing to implement immigration law. The bill is named in honor of Laken-Riley, who was a Georgia nursing student murdered while jogging on the campus of the University of Georgia. The murder suspect in Riley's case is a Venezuelan illegal immigrant, Jose Ibarra, who had already been arrested prior to that crime for shoplifting in Georgia. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
On November 15th, you can have dinner with Eric Metaxas right here in Alabama. Metaxas, the author of Bonhoeffer and Letter to the American Church, will keynote 1819 News' first annual Albert Patterson Gala on November 15th at the Barber Motorsports Event Center in Birmingham. To learn more and sponsor a table, visit 1819news.com/gala. Again, that's Eric Metaxas on November 15th. Go to 1819news.com/gala to learn more.
5 people were arrested in Mobile County and charged by police for taking part in an organized theft ring that involved a Dollar General store in Grand Bay. The 5 suspects are accused of stealing over $300,000 worth of inventory from that particular store. 2 of the suspects were the assistant manager and store associate. Former Alabama State Senator Jimmy Hawley has died at the age of 80. Hawley's passing occurred on Monday at the Elba Nursing Home. Hawley first served in the Alabama House from 1974 to 1994, then was elected to the state Senate in 1998 and served there until 2022. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today. This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention, which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The holiday season is quickly approaching, and what better way to spread joy than by giving back to those in need? We're calling on all of you, our generous listeners, to make this holiday season extra special for those who might be struggling. Join us for our annual holiday food drive benefiting the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. It's simple. Just gather non-perishable food items like canned goods, pasta, rice from your pantry, and drop them off at any of our convenient sponsor locations across the river region. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can feed families in need this holiday season. Starting November 11th, bring your donations to Ask Telemarketing, City Pawn, Rick's Jewelers, Riverside Chevrolet, or Prattville Carpet. Donate what you can. It's Blue Water Broadcasting's annual Holiday Food Drive.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Oh, final hour here of the program on Election Day. And it's not going to be till much later that presidential returns start coming in, as we've been talking about all day. But, after ranting and raving and speculating and
hooting and hollering.
Yeah, like how do we feel now in the third hour? How you feeling, man?
I got a little bit of my angst out.
Yeah, you did seem like I got a view of you where it's not nothing wrong with it, but I'm like, oh, it's kind of like that last day before you go on a big month trip, and you're like, did I checklist?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have everything? Do I it's so I get it. That you get to the point you made earlier is that you're so focused on your own campaign and boiling down the variables to where you make it here, this, and this will win us the election. And on the last day, on election day, you can kind of sit back, that machine you built's in motion, and you get to look at the other team's machine. And you go, oh man, I wish I had known about that aspect of it 2 months ago.
Right.
And so thus the angst and anxiety comes up.
The next day. I mean, the last 24 hours, if you're in charge of a county, state, anything like that, if you're not spending every moment, every man hour making sure people get out to go vote, you should be fired.
Yeah, I agree.
Period. End of story.
272-9228. And there's still time. There's a competitive race here in Alabama, at least in District 2.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline Dobson. If you're a big conservative, you want a Republican government, go vote for Caroline Dobson. I think it would shock the world. It would shock political strategists. Everybody's being a little coy about it, but I know some folks who really make their money working politics in this state. It is an uphill battle for Caroline Dobson, but you could shock those folks. Jeff Poore told me this last week, that Barry Moore and Jerry Carl had to go up because of this brand new District 2. Mm-hmm. They had to compete in District 1. All the polling showed Jerry Carl winning that thing. He did not.
Right. That's not true.
That's not true?
That's not true. All the
publicly available polling. Okay, fair enough.
I had somebody 3 weeks before that tell me that Barry was going to win it because of West Mobile.
Interesting. So there were people who had a read on it, but publicly available polling.
Right.
Right. And so, like, publicly available polling for this Figures Dobson race looks bad for Dobson. I don't know what internals say. Who knows?
We will tomorrow or later tonight.
We'll know later tonight. So if you want that Republican majority, you can surprise the smart set, you can surprise the national media, you can surprise a lot of Republican strategists who I think have written this off. We'll see. Get out there and vote. 272-9228. Let's go to Josh. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, guys. How we doing?
Good.
Well.
Good. I'm actually dealing with a strange situation now. This wet stuff coming from the air that I haven't seen in about a month or so. So I'm having a little tough time driving up I-65. It's raining, basically.
I see.
Yeah. Anyhow, I was saying I had to go down to Daphne through Baldwin County and all that. The little fire station were lined up back to back and whatnot. And I would encourage people to go vote, especially for District 2. There was a lot of smear ads that were coming on TV last night. We need somebody that's going to be able to watch out for our district, and not somebody that's worried about going back up to Washington.
So you're encouraging folks to get out there and vote for Caroline Dobson.
No, I don't endorse any candidate, but no candidate endorsement, but anybody that wants something not to be, just look at his track record, Wikipedia on him. Ever since he got through law school and all that, he's been in other states, working himself up, worked through the Obama administration and all that. He just seems like another Stephen Reed on a different level.
Well, he certainly knows how to play ball, I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Probably has a better average.
You're probably right about that. Well, I appreciate it, Josh. Good message, man.
All right, bro. See.
Let's go to Randall. Hey, Randall, how you doing?
How about it?
What's up,
Not
Randall?
bud. Not, man, you caught me that time. I'd be like, oh, it's gonna be this time. Nope, it's gonna be this time. Man, going back to the mug shot. I mean, I know George heard me say this, but Brian, I don't know if you have. Close your eyes in that whole situation. There ain't no way that many folks is out in line just by a whip. You see what I'm saying? I think the whole, I hate to say it, but I think the whole thing was subtle. I mean, this picture was too perfect. I mean, too perfect. I mean, I've been in them pictures. You know what I mean? It ain't that simple. And too many people line up on that street, and it ain't like Grandma looked out the window and said Donald Trump's coming and called everybody, and they piled out there. I mean, that was a bunch of people. So they had to have a heads up.
So, yeah, and there is, Randall, there's advanced work, security work. Like, so people would have noticed massive motorcades showed up around their area.
And it just all, you talking about before Trump got there, he went, see, he didn't have to go down in the streets, though. The amount I seen, he really took a back road in a way. I mean, the slowest way he could possibly went, they could have went on up the interstate further.
Are we talking about Trump or Kennedy? I'm lost.
Trump.
Okay.
Trump or Kennedy?
Yeah,
No,
we
you
were
don't
talking
matter.
about Kennedy getting shot earlier.
Randall's talking about as they're going to be arraigned in Fulton County, there were a lot of folks lining the streets in support of Trump, and then the mugshot is too good to be true.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all I want Byron to understand. I mean, to see. I mean, I think about that day a lot, and I think about the route they took, and it wasn't the safest one in the world. I can tell you that. It was not the safest route.
No, they put him on parade, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
took advantage of it. Why wouldn't you?
And probably that's what I'm saying about the pictures. They did the same thing with that. It ain't like it was just a one-shot deal and he automatically got it. I mean, I think they.
Why do you think the authorities at Fulton County would be in on that?
Plus, they generally don't let you have a second.
You know how I think about this whole. You know how I think about the whole situation. So that's one reason. I think I don't know. I don't want to say it. Trump is our best thing. I'm not saying that he's it. He's the man. He's what we need. Period. In the story. And no matter if he flinches or not flinch, I mean, he's still the person we need to get this job done. And I'm afraid that they got stuff on him that's why he didn't come out and release the paperwork before on Kennedy. I heard what Judge Knapp said, and it's like they were holding something over his head, and he couldn't do the things he wanted to do. He couldn't fire the people he wanted to fire, or that he needed to fire. And it's just too much. He didn't do his all. He was too pumped 2016 and didn't get it all. I mean, he got a lot of stuff done now, but there were some people that needed to be knocked in the head and buried, and he didn't get it done. And now we still dealing with them right now. They still in.
Randall, he didn't have locked up support from people within his own party.
Right.
I mean, he had all kinds of plans and ambitions, but I mean, the beast is larger than any one man.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. I think if they had something on him, it would be outright. And they've thrown everything at this guy.
Literally everything.
I think I believe Trump when he said Mike Pompeo convinced him not to release it. And who knows what Pompeo told him? We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't actually know what's in there. But it's something enough. Well, and remember the quote from Judge Napolitano, Judge, if you saw it, I saw it, you wouldn't release it either. So you got to wonder what the heck is in there. Why was Pompeo so convincing?
Probably a lot of money behind it somewhere.
Yeah.
What's Pompeo do?
He was the head of the CIA.
Right. And who is this more than likely going to implicate?
The CIA.
Then why would he say anything else? Come on, guys.
I know.
Get your head out of your own butt and look at this.
Yeah, obviously. Yes.
I don't understand it.
But what you said, Byron, is the beast is bigger than one person, and that's where I've always stood, is that can't no one person do this. They're not gonna let one person take them down. The plan is too big, and I think they got him no matter what.
Okay.
I mean, he's still gonna knock heads. I think this time the show they gotta let him knock a few heads, or it's gonna look like that we all planned the whole situation. And they're gonna give up the money.
Oh, they ain't giving up the money.
And, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you. I just wanted to say that about that line up, man. I love y'all.
Love you too, Randall.
Appreciate it, Randall.
See you, brother.
See y'all in the morning.
All right, bro.
Wait, you think the CIA killed Kennedy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Not by themselves.
Right.
So if a guy that was over the CIA said, hey, we really got to let this go, Donald. Okay.
Yes.
You really trust that guy? Now, Donald, I'll be honest. His first go round, sorry, he's a bit of an ignorant schmuck. Look at how he got taken advantage of. I don't see that happening this go round. I just don't.
Right. But again, to Randall's point, I don't think it's like they had like a photo of Trump with a goat or something.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
No, I think Pompeo just gave a good enough argument about why not. Don't do this. Here's all the fallout that will happen.
Right.
Guys, I mean, if Trump was at a Diddy party, everybody would know.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
I mean, we would know everything. If the Dems have found it anywhere, it doesn't even have to be true.
Agree.
I do love, what did the Babylon Bee put out when Jennifer Lopez came out and endorsed Kamala? They're like, Diddy's ex-girlfriend wants you to believe she's a credible judge of character.
Right. And there's a picture of the two standing there. She's kind of crying a little bit. Doesn't like a good scene for her.
This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and the team are ready to help you with buying or selling here in the River region. Whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, they can help you out. Bo's been working in this market for nearly half a century now, so he knows what he's doing. And not only can they help you sell your property or buy, they also have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Great idea in this market. And then the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed in the state. because of Bo's experience. It's also a very interactive course. And the proof is all the folks that have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School and got on to great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors or more knowledgeable private players here in the River Region real estate market. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor of News and Views in the afternoon. Oh, let's go to line 3 to a man I thought about doing a write-in as a joke, but I'm like, no, not with Rich Anderson. I'm voting for Rich Anderson all day. How you doing, Rich?
Thank you. I'm doing great, Joey. I wanted to call in to give you an update from that sea of uncontested races in the middle of the ballot.
Yeah.
In my race for Court of Criminal Appeals, we've done some exit polling, and it looks like Harry Potter and Donald Duck are in a very tight race for second place. But I feel pretty good about my chance.
Yeah, I saw your name and smiled. I was happy to put the bubble it in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The one thing about, very, very grateful to the people of Alabama for the opportunity. But the one thing about running uncontested here is it means I'm not worried about my race. So I'm just intensely worried about the country and the rest of the race. So it's kind of a mixed blessing. At least if I had an opponent, I'd be distracted.
There you go. But it's actually going to be a fun, joyous watch party at your house.
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. 100%. 100%. We're looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to getting to work for Alabama. But I just, I wanted to call in and give you that update from the middle of the ballot.
Love it. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Rich Anderson. Let's go to Eric the dog. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
What up, Eric?
Hola.
Did you get my message I sent to you and Eddie earlier today, Eric?
What about
No,
boobs?
sir. I don't. Look, I stole a few minutes because it's election day, and I've been kind of trying to listen, but the job I have now, I can't. I do not. It takes 100% of what brain power I have to do the job I got to do.
Okay, I'm just going to describe it to you. And folks, this is sophomore. This is like teenage boy stuff, but I'm here for it. This has over 20 million views on Twitter. It's just a guy named Fred at Grand Handsomer. Fred tweeted 3 different tweets. He said, "Show your boobs if you don't care who wins the election." He also tweeted, "Show your boobs if you want Kamala to win." And he said, "Show your boobs if you want Trump to win." And then he quote tweeted that and said, "Now we wait." God bless America.
I like his methodology.
Hey, head you win, tails I lose. What do you want to do? Let's go. What's yours is yours, and what's mine is yours. So you win. I like it. I'm here for it. I live for the day where we can just get along. The only time, because I seriously don't have time, I catch y'all. I watch the rerun of y'all on YouTube. What's your name? For what?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I live for the day where you can just. The only time I thought about politics is when I go and I spend money, and then I'm just constantly miffed about what it takes out of my check to do what I used to do.
Yep.
A few months ago, I was putting $40 a week to get back and forth to work, and now I'm putting $50. And I didn't change workplaces. It's ridiculous, man. And oddly enough, maybe if you call enough people racist long enough and call them garbage on top of that, you might have incited something that you didn't actually intend, and people will rise to the calling and show you what garbage can do when you put it together. I mean, it can make an island in the Pacific. Why not change an election in the U.S.?
No, we'll see. It is a weird cultural moment, how divided the nation, siloed off in a way. But there does seem to be a lot of energy behind this new kind of a little bit rude, a little bit crude at times, but this new, I think, truly American culture saying enough of it. Enough. We'll see.
I think this culture war is our battle of our lifetime, not to mitigate what military personnel have gone through, but I mean, as far as the country goes, I think this battle right here for the hearts and minds of the people that are going to be voting is it's a huge battle. There's a lot of field, and there's a lot more less educated people up on the topics, voting on this is more emotional, less factual. Which emotions are a good barometer, but they are a poor compass, and not enough people know that. You know, I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
and also,
smile
you
because-
know the Tom Petty song, Even the Losers?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, that's what Florida was saying Saturday, but it turned out to be counterintuitive. You're
Nice,
welcome,
dog.
Soldier Boy. Adios.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
buddy.
Oh, I was going to go to Jacob, but he hung up. Let's go to line 3 instead. Hey, you're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey, guys. So, I know y'all will be heartbroken here that Garth Brooks may be leaving us. He has decided that if Trump wins, he's going to be moving to Ireland.
Oh, is that where he's got the bodies
I should
buried?
say, he's just going to start a new killing spree over there, Joey.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man. But in the words of Doug Harris, likely words of Doug Harris, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing, that's a bitter pill to swallow, but we've got to carry on. So, anyway, I hate to make jokes, but I can't express how my mind works. But you know, I've got my dark Gothic MAGA hat now. I ordered it the other day, the one that Elon wears. And I think it's time to go medieval on some folks, bud. There's some bad things that people have done, and they've just been allowed to get away with it.
What do you mean medieval?
Yeah, what are we doing? Trying and quartering people?
Let's actually uphold the law. How about that?
Good place to start.
And
Uphold the laws, all right.
Get people that have done some bad things, prosecute. Well, like Elon put out a text yesterday, the hammer of justice is starting to fall on some people, and it's high time.
Are you? And I suppose, are you watching the stream at all? Have you looked at it all today?
No.
Eddie and I are
I've
both.
been out and about.
Eddie and I are both dark MAGA. We both have the caps on.
No, do you?
Mhm. I have a beard cap on.
Yeah.
Well, wait
Well, he's
minute.
a
I thought
pro,
there's
like-
dark MAGA, and then there's dark Gothic MAGA. What is there? Is that true or no? Is it
Now,
just dark
there's some truth to that. We're going to build beautiful cathedrals all around this nation.
Oh, this has got to be really just torturing some folks to see. But it looks like I believe that Trump, but who knows? I'm hoping that I'm right. But in the meantime, one way or the other, I think it's time to, as Elon said, the hammer of justice has got to fall on some of the people that have done apparently some really, really bad things. Don't you think, Joey? I mean,
Yeah, if you can actually prove somebody broke the law in a big way, go for it.
Yeah.
But you got to be actually able to prove it.
Well,
Or we're wasting everybody's time.
well, of course, naturally. No, we're not going to prosecute people just because they're political. Try to make up some kind of prosecution like they, have against Trump. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But, look, if they've done some bad things, it's time to go ahead and let's shout it from the mountaintops. Let's get some daylight on them cockroaches.
There you go.
But anyway, all right, guys.
Appreciate it, Papa B. 272-9228, line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Man, Joe, you the man, buddy. I'll tell you. I got my friend, and I'm Eric, by the way.
Eric.
Yes, sir. Napolitano is one of the best people that, I don't know what you would I know he's a judge, of course, but, what do you, constitutionalist? Would that be kind of, is that him?
Yeah, I would say he's a hardcore libertarian constitutionalist, pre-Vatican II Catholic who believes in natural law to the day is long.
I'm gonna. Joey, this is already in the making, and I know it's a little early right now, even though the election's still underway. But I'll tell you something. I may be wrong. I've been wrong most of my life, but the fact of the matter is, I'm sure there's behind the scenes going on at this very moment. You know, because and I ain't complaining because I'm a Republican all the way, but I'll tell you something, you know, there's a lot of conniving and a lot of manipulating, and something that happened in North Carolina that really disgusted me. I've seen it on, I can't repeat the news, but the name, but anyway, the thing of it is, you mean to tell me in western North Carolina that where the hurricane decimated, you know what, JoJo? Look, they were telling their kids in school, public schools, mind you, they needed to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Now, I thought that was out of the equation that you can't do that. Political.
Are you surprised, man? Yeah. It's kind of like Eddie's point about the CIA and Kennedy. It's like, yeah, we could talk around this, but I'm not that surprised that that sort of thing's going on. I mean, the kids can't vote, though. So.
One quick question. How do you stop it?
How do you stop it? You embarrass them.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing of it is, you know as well as I do, Joe, you got real good knowledge, and so do your sidekick. But I mean, if you know, everybody gets a trophy in a baseball game, even if they lose a tournament, everybody gets a trophy. So how do you defeat it?
Oh, we're not. It's going to have to be something culturally earth-shattering that reforms or reshapes our outlook or outview.
Yes, sir. I mean, it is, but it's an unfortunate deal because it's, you know, a lot of. I'm a sore loser, but when I lose fair and square, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I hear you, man. But
I'll be damned. I'm gonna be damned if I'm gonna cry like that girl did when Hillary Clinton lost.
Right. I mean, but it's day by day, and you know, I think I said this to Judge Knapp earlier. A lot of Americans get caught up in the idea we control our destiny just on election day. No, you control it every day by day, and it's still a great enough country where you can do your daggum best on your own, and then the chips fall where they may. I got to run, Eric. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call.
You do a good job.
Thanks, sir. Bo Holt on the stream saying, O'Doyle rules. Trump on. O'Doyle rules right back at you, Bo. And breaking news from the Daily Mail. The United States to test hypersonic nuclear missile tonight, just hours after the election polls close.
Great timing.
Where is said test going to be conducted?
No, I'm just looking at the headline.
I saw a headline where a guy was arrested at the U.S. Capitol because he smelled like gasoline and had a torch.
Good God.
Apparently he was going a little Tiananmen Square.
One thing this is like, and we got to hit a break, but one of these things that make you go, is all of these businesses boarded up in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
You think? Nah, probably not.
No, it makes you, CNN also boarded up.
Yeah. Double
And
fist.
so it makes you think like, oh, these folks think Trump's going to win. Because he ain't boarding it up if Kamala wins.
We're talking like in Wisconsin, Georgetown storefronts.
Yeah, I'm talking D.C. A lot of places, in downtown.
Kamala residents got double fences going around it now.
So there, a lot of these, insiders, elite types are kind of acting like it might be a Trump win. Who knows? Because that ain't for like if Kamala wins.
Well, no one knows right now. I mean, that's a fun part.
That's just one little other marker. Hey, we got to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times. And please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Fall is officially here, and it's time to get your system ready for the winter. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125 or go to clarkcomfort.com. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. On this election evening, we have basically a dry forecast through about midnight. I would say the rain chances are not 0, but 20% or less, picking up a little bit in the wee hours of the morning. Otherwise, breezy, very mild, overnight low temperature in the upper 60s. Tomorrow, a higher probability of scattered showers, possibly some thunderstorms, with a high near 80. Then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with highs in the upper 70s. Risk of scattered showers at times, otherwise mostly cloudy. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Now, I earlier promised a different angle. It's not a polling angle, though. Before I play this, you were saying, Byron, you've got like your final map. You're like, this is what I'm predicting the Electoral College will be. What do you got?
Right now, subject to change, but I'm going to go 281 Trump, 257 Harris, or nightmare scenario, Trump 262, Harris 276.
And what's the difference there?
Which way PA and Nevada fold.
Interesting. It might be a late night, folks. But here's a story about a guy who's not even American, but who put a huge bet on the American election. Let's listen in.
A mysterious trader called French Trump Whale made headlines internationally for allegedly tampering with predictive betting markets to give Donald Trump an edge in the polls. I tracked down the mysterious French trader to ask him why he bet $40 million of his own money on a Trump victory, and to ask him whether this is an ideological play or if he's just keen on making money.
I'm not supporting Trump. I'm just observing that Trump has
a 90% chance of winning this election and a 65% chance of winning the popular vote. That's why I bet on both. The polls are really, really different from the odds in the predictive markets. It calculates something totally different. One is calculating what are the intentions of the people to vote. The other are bets made by real people with real money about who they believe the winner will be. My name is Theo. I'm a French trader and investor. In August, I started to realize that media outlets are making the same mistakes they made in 2016 and 2020, underestimating the Trump vote. Why? Because again, it's underestimating the shy Trump vote effect. I deep dive into the polls and I realized that most of the polls are definitely skewed to the advantage of Harris. I also read a lot about what we call the neighbor vote effect.
Can you show us the math that explains how you saw this skew in the polls?
New York Times yesterday published 3-4 the surveys in some states, in the swing states, and one was very astonishing because it was a clear outlier on real clear politics. It's in North Carolina, which is a very solid Republican state, and this showed that Harris is ahead 2% in that state. I'm going to show you what I found out and how skewed this poll is. Here you have the crosstabs of a survey that was released by New York Times, Siena, for North Carolina, with likely electorates. They basically sampled 1,010 number of respondents, 1,010. In 2020, we can see that 441 voted for Biden and 349 voted for Trump. Let's calculate the percentage based on the respondents. 431 divided by 1,010, you have 42.6%. 349 divided by 1,010 is 34.5%. So first, what we can see is that the percentage here that they display is wrong. It's fake. They display 42 and 40%.
Sure, so that's a very big difference.
Why they did that? It's because for people who are looking at these numbers, they don't compute like I did. I'm probably the only one who computed it. Because people are seeing 32 and 40% and they say, oh, you know what? It's quite fair. They polled for only 2% more Biden voters, 22 voters. Now let's compare with what happened in 2020. What did the people really actually vote in 2020 in North Carolina? 49.9 people voted for Trump and 48.6. So basically 1.3% of people voted more for Trump. And if you compare with who they polled in this survey, you have here a difference of 8%. So basically, they're off by 9.3%. They're unrepresentative by 9.3%. It's a huge skew to the advantage of Harris.
Is this the only skew that you have, or can you demonstrate even more skews?
No, polls? First, this skews is in all New York Times crosstabs. And I have another category where I can show you that they also use another skew. It's with what we call race education. Race education is what? Is measuring, for instance, the intentional votes of whites, people
who have college,
and whites who don't have college. Exactly. So let's calculate. It's exactly the same calculation.
Again, folks, this guy bet something like $40 million on this, and he's explaining his logic.
Again, the percentage are fake. 30% is not 35%, and 40% is not 32%. We can see that they sampled more white college than white not college.
Sure.
And by a lot.
Does this replicate across other
It's
states?
replicated across other states. I'm at the job. We don't have a time, but I wanted also to show you the results in Wisconsin. Sure. Which is totally skewed. I made also the job on Michigan, which is totally skewed. In New York Times Siena, And I encourage you really to go to the Siena website, check the crosstabs, make the work I did, and you will be astonished. I tell you that Trump will outperform the polls, especially these polls, by 4 to 5% minimum.
So, Theo, you're not actually a gambler, you're just a trader.
Yes, that's the difference between a gambler and a trader. I am a trader because I'm based on rationals. I'm based on analytics. I'm not supporting Trump. I'm just observing that Trump has a 90% chance of winning these elections.
He's just resetting the line. I'm gonna call it like I see it.
Okay. That's a lot of money to be throwing around, too.
A lot of money gonna be
Lot of money.
won or lost.
Whew.
Just tilted a little too far one direction.
So you weren't buying the crosstab thing he was
I
explaining?
mean, yeah, look at the crosstabs. I still don't know all the methodology from his little video.
Right.
But I know human nature enough to know that if there's money to be made, this whole idea that anyone can bet on this, one of the worst ideas ever, man. We're talking about incentivizing good behavior in politics, not bad behavior. So let's open politics and election outcomes up to gambling. Don't get any ideas, State.
272-9228. Yeah, I think I just heard Nathaniel Ledbetter get a chill up his leg. Don't get me started on Governor Ivy, sugar.
One of those new revenue streams.
Yeah. This is part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, they're ready to help you fellas out, especially if you've been feeling tired all the time. Like you thought you slept well, but I'm like, why am I mentally not there? I don't have that sharpness, that edge. Like physically, I just feel like miserable. You're seeing a lack of motivation and drive, including a decrease in your sex drive. All these together could signal that you have low testosterone.
That's right.
And, knowing whether you have low T is huge in combating these sorts of issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. So let's go away from the trader or the gambler.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go to, the guy I voted for in the Republican primary. Vivek Ramaswamy was asked, what are you feeling, Vivek?
Stay as objective as possible with myself, Sean. I think there's two possibilities here. One is we all have our heads stuck in our own algorithmic echo chambers, or Donald Trump is going to win this decisively. And I truly think it's going to be the latter. I've gone on the ground in Pennsylvania, across the country. I see an energy, especially from demographic groups that have historically gone Democrat, including young people, including Gen Z, coming our way. I love those early vote numbers. Again, in principle, there's two possibilities. One is we're doing great, and that's a predictor of how we're going to do in the election. The other is because of the emphasis for Republicans on voting early this year, people who would have voted on election day are now voting early instead, in which case that doesn't bode as well for us. So we got to stay objective heading into tomorrow. We can't celebrate yet. But my sixth sense, my gut, from traveling this country, Pennsylvania twice over the course of just the last week and last few days, suggests to me there's something real going on here. This could be a decisive, unifying victory where by tomorrow night, if not late, into the next day, Wednesday morning or Wednesday evening, we know exactly who's going to be the next president. That's Donald Trump. And uniting this country will then be the next step.
Gotta like the confidence. 272-9228. Let's go to line one real quick. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is East.
Hey, East.
Hey, I enjoyed the story of the French guy, but I'm sorry, the whole time I was listening to him, I kept expecting him to say, Monsieur, does your dog bite? No. I thought you said your dog doesn't bite, and it's hilarious.
That is not my dog.
That is not my dog.
That's not my dog. Yeah, that's right. Priceless Steinway. But look, Man, I can always depend on you to have good stuff when we're riding around out here. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, of course. Appreciate you, East. Great hearing.
All right. Hey, I saw Eddie Bader's name on Federal Drive too.
It's a good thing. It's a house that I have for sale over there. It's
fine.
It's not it's not a wanted sign, I promise.
No, yeah, that's right. Your name's not on the water tower.
No.
All right. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, East.
If you go to the post office, I'm not on those wanted posters either.
Here's a little bit of that closing message from Trump. He said,
I've been waiting 4 years for this. And so have you. And so have you. We've all been waiting 4 years. One day, you gotta show up. I don't want any money. I don't want anything. Just show up and bring your vote. And if you have somebody else that got a little lazy, bring that person too. Say, Jim, you gotta get off the damn couch. Come on. We got to make America great again, Jim. We're just one day away from what will be the most important political event in the history of our country. But you have to get out. We have to vote. Just show up and vote. I'd love to. Really, what we should do is swamp them. Just swamp them tomorrow. You know, we have a massive lead. I don't even like telling you that, to be honest with you. We have a massive lead. First time ever, a Republican was leading by a lot in early, but it didn't happen. The Republicans would always be way behind. They believe in going on election day, so we're going to let you go on election day, right? But they waited till the end always. Democrats would always have hundreds of thousands of votes, and then you either catch them or you don't. You never know what's going to happen. But Republicans have never been in the lead, and not like this. It's a big number. So we have to just get at, the ball is in our hand. We're at the 2-yard line, maybe the 1-yard line, but it's in our hand, and we put it over that. It'll be the biggest event maybe in the history of our country. And let me tell you, it will be also something much more important than that. It's going to save our country because our country is in trouble.
Again, just a little bit of the closing there from Trump.
You think they're concerned about a gender gap?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, I think the backdrop shows who they're trying to appeal to.
Oh, yeah. I think that same event, Megyn Kelly got up and spoke on behalf of Trump. Got to hit this break. We'll be right back, folks.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
No one wants to wait on service for an overhead door. With 20 years in the industry, you now have access to the best with All Access Overhead Door. All Access Overhead Doors offers prompt, professional service at affordable prices on all service and new garage doors for residential and commercial locations. All Access Overhead Door serves the river region and can take care of whatever you need when it comes to your overhead door. Remember, you have access to the best. All Access Overhead Door. Call and schedule an appointment today. 320-2440. And like them on Facebook. They sell the best and service the rest.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Good, good. Anything interesting going on today?
Not much. I mean,
not much.
Just the election.
Yeah, I was just telling Eddie, we went at 2 o'clock. It was dead. There wasn't like anybody there. Walked right in there, and they were like, you hit it perfect, because we had been wrapped up all day long. I said, oh, yeah, I know when to come. You either go at 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. If you wait till after 3, you can hang it up. You'll be there all day.
I went at 10:30.
And you were, well, how long you had to wait? Like 10 minutes?
No, it took me like 2 minutes to vote. I had no wait.
Yeah. No wait at all. So that's just expert of somebody that's voted for their whole, since they turned 18. I figured out a long time ago. 2 or 10. Hey, did you know that we're going to be a part of the food drive with you guys?
Oh, no, I knew it was going on. I didn't know y'all were part of it. That's awesome.
I didn't know it either until I heard it on the radio commercial today. And I called and said, hey, Bo, you got us a part of the food thing? He said, yeah, I meant to call you. I knew y'all would want to be a part of it. I said, thank you for doing that. I really want to be a part of it.
Awesome.
So if y'all want to drop canned goods by the store from now until, I think, around Christmas, feel free to stop by and drop them off. And while you're here, register for that free countertop until the end of the month.
That's 2201 Cobbsford Road, or what's that number again?
285-8117.
Yeah, it's still the same. 285-8117.
Are y'all staying up all night?
Maybe. I'm not doing any watch party shenanigans. I'm clean and sober, going to hunker down with my grandfather, and we'll watch the returns, and maybe if it gets too late, I'll go to bed.
Nah, sleep at 9. I'll wake up at 4 like I always do, roll over, look at my phone, then roll right back over and go back to sleep. Because I figure we're not going to know anything until next week anyway.
Well, I guess we'll talk tomorrow. Maybe the world won't end.
Yeah, I think, you know what? The sun will rise tomorrow, and we'll go back to work. So we'll be here at 7. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Appreciate it, Ray. 272-9228. And a reminder, again, Dylan Rings has this ladies' night event coming up.
That's right.
Just 2 days away.
This Thursday,
5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at 119 Brown Springs Road. That is their location. And, you know, with Christmas right around the corner, come pick out your Christmas
great
gift.
time to do some shopping like that.
Or at least fill out a wish list, start stuffing those stockings. And also enjoyed a great relaxed party atmosphere. Yesteryear Antique Jewelry will be making a guest appearance. I'll be there. Eddie will be there.
That's
Byron
right.
will be here. Well, the guys on the radio will be there. And there's going to be some beautiful jewelry, gift bags, first come, first serve, an incredible spread of food. And you can enter a raffle for a Diamonds and Pearls necklace and earring set.
Ooh, love that.
Ooh.
So get by there to Dylan Rings for their Diamonds and Pearls Ladies Night, 5:30 to 7:30 this Thursday. So what did we learn today, gentlemen? I mean, I feel like I got a good rant out. We've made some jokes. We got some calls, people getting out it's a very emotional day.
College football playoffs, top 12 comes out tonight.
Oh, are you excited about that?
Not really. Kind of like the election tonight, but it's something else. A little distraction.
Yeah, something else. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Something else that Alabama as a state will not really have any hand in impacting currently.
Yeah, and I'll just say, no matter what happens, we'll make it through. Don't do anything crazy, Eddie.
No, I'm fine.
Wait, you got the sticker?
I voted. Yeah.
That's just the
and
first
Titus,
one.
we're proud of the fact
When
that
you
we
still
vote.
get a sucker when you go to the doctor?
No, but when I go to the barbershop, I do.
When I go to the bank, I get one.
Well, they kind of gotten greedy here lately at the bank. Shouldn't challenge the lady in the drive-through window.
Hold on. Banks got greedy.
They gotten very greedy.
Wow.
Anyway, y'all get out and vote, especially for Caroline Dobson.
Yes.
Let's shock the world. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour, Greg Vidal. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM,